And they can hear us now. Hello!
Woo!
Hey!
Welcome,
Hello.
everyone. Thank you for joining our stream here. We're very excited to have you on the Baggage Claim D&D channel. I finally got it right. We are here playing as the Vagabonds storyline, so that's what we're doing tonight. Thank you for joining us. I've paused our music because during the recap I'm going to play an old school piece since it's been raining in the game. So
Yay.
anyway,
Yes.
thank you for joining us now. So there was something I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. But happy 4th of July on Sunday. That's what I was going to say, totally. But if you missed any of the previous episodes and you want to check them out, please check us out on YouTube. You have to search up our name because we're not cool enough to have our own URL yet. But we'll get there. So please check it out. It's very cool and fun, and we really appreciate when you do so.
Woohoo.
I think unless there's anything else aside from the obligatory rebuke of Canada Dry for not sponsoring us.
Oh,
We will.
one might call it hellish.
That's right. It's a hellish rebuke, even. Okay, well, we will start our recap unless anyone has anything they want to say or add. Okay. So hopefully this isn't blasting anyone's ears out.
Honestly, I don't think we would care if it did.
I mostly just don't want it to be so overpowering during the recording that they can't hear what I'm saying. Okay, so last we left off, the party had recently ventured to what Rikos the Stone Giant had called the Land of the Ill Clouds, which you know as Haversteep. You trekked across the rolling plains of the Tarid Protectorate, stopping briefly at two separate towns and getting a feel for the land that so many call home, and eventually found yourselves passing through the imposing gates into the relative lowland. As the gates closed behind you, you saw two propaganda-style posters hanging on the inner wall and found yourselves fully immersed in the heavy rainfall overhead. After several days of traveling across the wet grassland, only occasionally getting a break to dry yourselves out, you finally saw the dilapidated and abandoned Order of Xenia library rise up. The once beautifully ornate structure lied in disrepair, but you ventured in, seeking out Arcturus, who had originally called you for aid and set this place as the meeting spot. Upon entering, you saw the once intricate interior filled from floor to ceiling with books, now ruined and warped from the constant downpour, and the books themselves destroyed both from water damage and many of them showing evidence of arson. At the end of the large hall, the body of Arcturus lied exposed and pinned to the pedestal by a large spear through his chest, evidently dead for some time. A rustling between two of the bookcases caused you all to look and see a small child tumble down a pile of books, slamming his head on the wood at the bottom and knocking him unconscious. After healing him and a brief conversation, he asked you to escort him back to his hometown, Moorstop, which you obliged. You walked with the child, named Jax, across the open plains, thankfully free of rain, and soon saw the town of Moorstop surrounded by walls, bearing several posters of the same propaganda style as you'd seen before on the outside. Passing into the actual town, you saw a people very cautious and wary of outsiders, but who seemed hopeful and hesitantly friendly inside, as well as a distinct lack of those same posters. Jax hurried through the village ahead of you and eventually led you to an inn/coffee shop/bar known as Frank and Beans. Entering in, you found the place to be somewhat populated with lively people, some working on poetry, others adorning the furniture with artistic carvings, and others hungrily enjoying food and hearty conversation. You also noticed an entire wall on the far side of the establishment covered in names and dates with small trinkets attached to nearly all of them. Hundreds of etchings littered the surface, completely covering the wall. A few moments and a frustrating conversation for Kanan later, the proprietor, Frank, emerged from a subsurface stairwell and spoke with you, first asking pointed questions to who you were and why you were there. All eyes turned toward you, and the gentle music and talk that previously filled the place grew deathly silent. After some interrogating, Frank asked that you travel with his guard, Cam, on a mission to, quote, pick up a letter to prove you weren't working with the Scries. You all agreed and set out, eventually finding out from Cam that there was more to this than just picking up a letter, and found yourselves stalking a group of travelers like bandits in the night. As you approached, a noisy owl alerted some of the travelers to your presence, and a ferocious battle ensued, where one of the more innocuous members of their group revealed himself to be a powerful angelic figure, who clubbed Varus and Anira nearly to death before Xarius banished him back to his home plane. Relieved, Cam informed you of a little more of his group's purpose. They intended to kill Tadriel. You gathered the documents that the angelic messenger left behind and found one in particular to be of interest. Written in a special encoding of Celestial, Xarius felt the warmth of Apollodux wash over him, and the letter suddenly made sense. Addressed to the shepherd, it contained a spreadsheet-like array of information with counts of a wide variety of strange and alien creatures. The description at the bottom offered a chilling explanation. Evidently, Tadriel had written to the shepherd saying, quote, "It seems you were right to send Ozek and the Mothagoth. Something is disturbing the Celestial Gate. Not to worry, nothing will escape. As for those who felled the champion, I will ensure their complacency within my borders. Your faithful servant, Tadriel." Though, while reading the name Tadriel, Xarius, you experienced reading multiple words kind of superimposed on top of one another, simultaneously reading the name as well as justice and judgment, all kind of mushed together. Together with Cam, you all gathered yourselves and returned to Moorstop and explained your findings to Frank, who in turn reluctantly called his recently arrived commander. She deftly ascended the stairwell, and you saw a beautiful woman with dark brown hair, pale skin, and mousy features. Upon seeing you, she looked on you with piercing, yellow-tinged eyes and smiled coyly. She spoke, hearkening back to a small mining town where some of you started this journey, and revealed herself to be the were-rat Zelene. And that is where we left off. So, you all currently stand in front of the bar at Frankenbeans. I gotta end the Lonesome West here. It's very good, but we'll have time for it later.
Tragic.
Not quite. It's a little too happy here. Can't have this excited, happy music playing.
It's a little too happy.
Well, you know, gotta set the mood right here. Okay, so
Let's tone the joy down.
Come on,
Really?
guys, pack it up.
it's really, really how it is. Okay, so you all currently stand in front of the bar portion at Frankenbeans inside. Frank, Zelene, Cam, and Ren the bartender are here, as well as several other patrons, either sleeping or quietly talking amongst themselves, and are scattered throughout the interior of the place. It's fairly late at this point, close to midnight, and you all have just returned from a somewhat intense combat. One moment here.
My face is like crooked.
Yeah, so Zelene holds the letter that you and Cam had collected and turns to you, Xarius, saying, "So, as much as I'd like to dive into this now, I've been up for 36 hours and I need rest. If you'll stay until tomorrow, I'd like your help translating this, if you don't mind."
Gladly. I think we're here to serve a common purpose.
That's good to hear.
I also
Hi,
think we all need rest as well.
Yeah, rest would be nice.
as well as an explanation as to what the hell happened with those kids.
Make an insight check.
Yeah.
23. Okay. Yeah, you sense a moment of recognition on Zelene's face, but it's very quickly covered up. Like she very quickly gets her composure back. It's just a brief glimpse, and she says, "I'm not sure to what you refer."
There were some kids from Phandalin, you know, where we met, which I'm assuming you remember, being as you just said that's where you met us. But we found them in quite horrible condition. after they said some of them had been really hurt or maybe killed by you, or the group of were-rats that was at Phandalin?
Ah, yes. I remember. I can give you an explanation in the morning, if that's all right.
All right.
I appreciate your patience. As for the rest of this, I really must rest. I'm sure you understand you've had trying travels yourself, I'm sure.
We just had them tonight.
Yes, as have I. Well, I'm sure Frank will, and she gestures towards Frank, I'm sure Frank will offer you accommodations to suit your needs. Whatever you need, I will pay for, so please enjoy your evening here, or what's left of it, rather. And we can rejoin in the morning.
All right.
See you in the morning then.
Very well, thank you. And Frank's clears his throat. Yeah, I can show you just any room upstairs, aside from the one at the very end of the hall. That's Jax's room. Any other one is fine.
Thank you very much for your generosity.
Of course. We're glad to have the help. You all are more than capable and, well, frankly, a little more capable than the normal recruits that we get.
Well, it's not
Luckily
every
so,
day.
That was a heck of a pickup mission for a letter.
Oh yeah, you just found the letter, right?
Yeah,
It was
just
a
lying there
little
on the
more than
ground.
just finding the letter.
It's basically finding the letter.
Basically.
Yeah, on the angel or whatever the heck that thing was.
We sure found the letter.
Good. But you're all here and everyone's safe. Right?
Well, I mean, except for the people we killed.
Oh, right. Except for them. Well, enjoy your rest. I need to sleep also.
No.
Good night. And him and Zelene exchange a sort of like a forlorn look, like a kind of longing look towards one another. And they both head upstairs in front of you and go down to the end of the hall. And enter into the room that they said that you can't use.
Happy?
Dang it.
Well, I am beat, literally, so I would like to rectify that with a good night's rest.
I agree.
No complaints here.
Definitely.
There we go, then.
All right, you head upstairs. And I mean, it's kind of what you expect, right? It's a small, kind of generic feeling inn room. It's got basic accommodations. You do have windows, which is nice. But right now, obviously, it's nighttime, so can't really see a lot of anything. Because, nighttime and all that. But you head in there, yeah, the sheets are pretty coarse. It's like definitely made from some kind of animal hair. It doesn't feel great. But it's a bed and it's a place to sleep. And it's fairly, accommodating for what you can expect. But the night passes without issue. Unless there's any, I don't want to skip past any conversations that you all would like to have in the meantime.
If I may, because I'm so close to forgetting that I want to talk to Zarius.
Yeah.
Sometime before we go to sleep, I will find Zarius and pull him aside just briefly, not like leaving the room or yeah, exactly, but just like
Yes, and
by the ear, yeah.
Dragon by the ear.
No. So, you remember in the cipher, we fell through the floor and, oh wow, there's a piece of Apollodux.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the two things that said, beware the shepherd's watchers.
Yeah.
In my time in the forest, I was going around places and exploring as you do, and I found these ruins that had these two statues in Celestial. It said they were watchers, and this vase like covered in runes. And that got me thinking, because I've been thinking a lot these past few weeks. Do you reckon that's...
Do you remember where that is?
I'm sure I could find it again. I stayed there for a better part of 10, 15 years. I'm sure I could find it.
It's likely another piece of her locked up, yes.
Well, when we find... I suppose that's what the stone giant meant by saying, we will return. If we make it out of Haversteep alive.
I remember that conversation very clearly.
But if we find ourselves in the forests, mayhaps that's a piece of your lady.
Sorry. What? What? Yes, it'd definitely be something to check out. We have a few ideas as to where some others may be, but add that to the list.
But hey, we're finding her.
Slow and steady.
That's all, really. I've just been thinking a lot these past few weeks about a lot of things, and my time in the forest, and that came up, and lines got connected, and here we are.
Yeah.
I am very tired. I'm going to go to sleep now.
Also very tired. Vanished an angel? What was that thing?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, let's just hope we don't run into any more of them.
That would be probably bad.
Yeah. For now, we sleep.
Yeah, sleep well. It's good sleep.
And we sleep.
All right. You head in, and all of you kind of bunk down and very quickly fall asleep. It's nice to just have some peace. I've been traveling a lot, sleeping inside, out of the rain, off of the damp ground for the first time in several days. Really sleeping inside for the first time in like a week and a half is nice. You pretty quickly fall asleep. Yeah, all sharing one bed. Yeah, you wake in the morning. Sunrise comes with a brief bit of golden light pouring in through the windows. The first sunlight that you've all experienced since entering into Haversteep's area of influence. The morning skyline is breathtaking, and the sunlight fills you all with a sense of energy and excitement for the day ahead. Clouds still loom forebodingly and low in the sky in clusters scattered about, but for now at least, you have relief from the rain and the overcast. Make sure I turn off the rain. As you all kind of gather yourselves together and open the door into the hallway, the intense scent of warm coffee and freshly cooked food fills the air. Down the hall, you hear a rhythmic thud, thud, thudding, like a ball bouncing, and look to see Jax doing just that, bouncing some sort of ball off the floor against the back wall. Oh, thank you for following. Wow, it feels so cool. Thank you for Oakland Jedi. You're very cool for following us. It's the cool thing to do.
That's in.
That's so exciting.
I love you.
All right. Well, we'll continue on. So yeah, he's just throwing this ball kind of off the floor against the back wall and catching it again. On seeing you, he hears the door open. He turns to face you, and he smiles and waves very excitedly, and the ball flies right past him and comes bouncing down the hallway towards you all. What would you like to do?
Catch it!
Kaden.
I'm gonna very gently deflect missiles at
Toss it back at him for a
Gently
whatever.
deflect missiles.
I'm gonna kill him with a bouncy ball.
No!
Wouldn't be the
No!
first person.
Okay.
The key point, 1d8 plus 4.
Kaden very quickly just snatches it out of the air, much to Jax's astonishment. You throwing it back to him?
Gently.
Gently bouncing it back. Okay.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sock the kids.
Stunning strut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be like, oh, hey, Jax, I think you've
Or sneak
lost
attack.
this.
Oh, wow, that was so fast. You're so fast.
You know, you could be this fast,
Really?
but you've got to eat all your broccoli.
Well, I like broccoli, so
My man, my fucking man, yeah.
Well, good. Then you'll be just as fast as I am by the time you're 20.
let's see who's faster. And he goes and takes the ball out of your hand pretty quickly, and he holds it out and he says, if you can grab it, then you are the fast one.
Wow. I don't think I could do that. I mean, look how fast you are already.
Well, let's see.
And
Sirius is gonna lean over to Varus. I got 2 gold on the kid.
I'll make it 5.
I'll raise you 3.
All right, everybody's bets are in.
I don't know what they are, but yes.
All right, it's just a dexterity check. So roll a
That
d20
one.
plus your dex modifier. I would say, Kanan, you're proficient in everything dexterous as far as like grabbing stuff out of the air, so you can add your proficiency modifier as well.
there.
That's pretty low.
Pull through, Jax.
Come on, Jax.
Oh, wait, no. It's 7 plus 4. So,
Yeah, 11.
Jax about to
not very good.
He has a +2, so he's only got a 9. So, Kanan, you snatch the ball from his hand. You could choose to fail it if you want to.
Can I choose to fail it?
Yeah, roll a deception check.
I'm not good at deception.
He's not good at insight. He's a child, so. You go and you start out like full on. Your your reflexes turn on, and you're like, I'm getting this thing. And then your hand gets almost there, and you remember, this is a kid. I should probably be, gentle. And you wait, and he doesn't even notice that you're like hesitating, and he pulls the ball away, and you miss. And he looks at you like, see? I told you I'm faster.
Wow, I haven't had my broccoli in weeks.
Well, you should eat it.
You're right. You're right.
You should've.
Good job, Jax. And she'll offer like high five
He
with the hand that's not missing
slams.
fingers.
He slams his hand into yours, like as hard as he can. It stings a little bit, He's definitely, you feel a little bit of a sting there on the palm.
Nice. You're getting some power in there.
He backs up and just flexes and power.
Power. I gotta get me some perfume. But so,
Okay.
um.
Well, Jax takes the ball again
Yeah.
and begins to just like start slinging it even faster and more like aggressively against the back wall. Super excited, feeling really into it, yeah. The rest of you are heading
Well, you
downstairs?
have fun there, Jax.
Okay. Did you all exchange your bets here?
Oh yeah,
Who were we betting against? We all betted.
we
for
all
the
betted
kid.
for Jax. I think.
I don't even remember. Yeah, I think honestly, it's probably best you hold on to the gold for now.
Yeah, Zarius, do you
My
need
sword will
anyone
just
to
eat
hold
it.
on to your money?
Um,
I haven't asked in a while.
I mean, I feel like, I just I don't spend it on anything else. Like I really have too much.
Been the most expensive weapon ever.
But as long as you're okay
I mean,
with
if-
the investment,
if you-
I just anytime you want me to hold on to your money so that that sword doesn't eat it.
I mean, if you
I'm
prefer
okay.
having the money, you can have like it.
I don't need your Zarius. Stop trying to
happened-
get
I
your
don't
money.
need your charity.
I don't need your charity, Zarius.
What happens if you don't feed it?
I seem to remember it getting weaker the last time.
Kind of
Oh.
doled out a bit, I think.
Yeah.
And
I suppose most
you,
things do.
you did speak to it?
I did. Yeah, and it asked me for platinum, and then it went away, or silver, and then it went away, and I haven't spoken to it since we've been a little busy.
Oh, well, I gave you my silver, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try talking to it again. Talking to your sword regularly is very therapeutic.
Is it?
I would know.
What the hell?
Is that really the weirdest thing I've ever said?
No.
No, I mean, I guess I
definitely not.
technically talk to my gun, so I've got to shut up now.
You guys are talking to so many things. I'm starting to feel left out.
You could talk to your fists, Kanan. Or maybe the
We could
dagger.
talk to one
I'd
another.
rather
I
to
think
leave
one of you
that
needs
to
to talk to a
others.
professional.
Yeah. We could do what we're doing right now and talk to each other.
What?
Right.
It was so funny. You said
Well,
you could
fine.
talk to your fists, and Kanan went,
No. They do the talking for me.
Kaden's just looking in a mirror, just like, come on, man!
You could talk to your dagger, Kanan, if you want something to talk to.
I'd imagine Kane would start speaking out of it, and that might be kind of scary. I think I'll leave my talking to regular people. I talk enough as it is.
That's fair, I guess.
Oh.
all right. As you're having this conversation, you're heading downstairs, and you see a different set of patrons from the night before hanging about the space. And Ren still tending the bar, though looking slightly more exhausted. Zelene and Frank are not present yet. So whatever you would like to do, you don't know how much time you have, but you got a little bit of time, presumably, to sit down, have some breakfast, get some food in there, whatever.
Get some beans.
Yeah, get some beans.
You know,
No,
if there's someone named Frank here, does that mean there was someone named Beans? Or is the Beans the food? Is like Beans the partner?
Maybe
maybe Bean's
Beans.
his last
Thank you.
name.
Ooh. You could
Frank
ask.
Frank
and
Bean.
And
It's
Frank
like his
and
full
Beans?
name. His middle name starts with
His
N.
aunt. Why not?
Ren is like rubbing his side of his head, and he's like, the beans are for the coffee.
Oh, you know, I'm not really a coffee person. I never thought about that.
So what's the N for then?
Sometimes, when people use what they call short language, or slang, they'll cut out the rest of the letters of a word and just keep the one that conveys the meaning. In this case, and being shortened to N.
Now I feel foolish.
Well, I was a language professor.
What?
That's
Is
a
this
joke.
something people do often?
Oh,
I mean, I think you could start a career. I'm convinced.
I am quite eloquent. What can I say?
Apparently a lot since you're eloquent.
That's a
You
good
didn't
point.
seem very eloquent last night. You didn't want to talk at all.
I did want to talk. I just didn't know who you were. 5 very armed people come into my establishment that I work at and start asking a bunch of important questions that I am not allowed to answer.
That's fair.
You could have told me the rooms weren't for us. I just wanted a room.
I don't know what to say to you. I have been up for 20 hours.
Why don't you sleep?
Because
People
my
really
shift
need to learn to
ends in
sleep.
4 hours.
You have a 24-hour shift.
Yes.
You should try adventuring. You get to set your own hours.
I'll look into that. In the meantime, I'll, stay here just till I figure that out.
Yeah, have a backup plan.
Of
You
course.
should try adventuring. You can set your own hours.
It's like those DoorDash ads.
Let me tell
You
you.
want to be your own boss.
We get paid once a
Hilarious.
month.
I mean, when you go to hell, you don't really get to set your own hours. You just
No, you just
have to deal with what the fuck is going on. And that happens a lot of places.
constantly.
Things just happen and they get in the way of you setting your own hours.
We could just start
But
a...
we could just sleep. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
eminently chasing us right at this very second.
Isn't
We
there?
could start a delivery service.
Deliver
Then you
mail.
can all be talking to me and I'm a cat, and then we can be Kiki's delivery service.
Oh. Isn't there that gentleman Bezos
Damn it,
over on
Abby.
the island who does that already? Is that monk? It's like he gets it to you in one day.
That's pretty impressive.
But, guys, on a serious note, and Kanan will start heading towards a table.
Okay.
Be like a couple of things. last night we fought. I mean, a couple of the people were just bugs, but like we fought a pretty powerful angel thing. And he was just carrying a letter. And it's kind of common knowledge that Tadriel is an angel of sorts, something powerful and celestial. I think we really better be prepared. And just know what we're getting ourselves into. This is the championships on steroids, which of course we didn't do because we fight fair. But yeah, also, I don't know if I'm ready to trust Zelene. I don't know where you guys are with that.
I don't even know who she is, frankly.
You seem to have history. Is there something the rest of us should know?
Oh, that's
Naira,
right.
at least.
Well, Varus, Harriet, and I, we took a couple of jobs in a town named Phandalin with Wayland and this lady named Xena. And well, one of them was making sure these mines were cleared for people to get in and start working. And there were a bunch of were-rats there, one of which was Zelene. Zelene was the leader of. And they traded for a high price, and they wanted their own land. Otherwise, it was going to be a killing spree for the people who owned the caves. I've got to say, she drives a hard bargain, and they had been running from their own home, but they were willing to kill people for things they already owned. And she was hard to work with. So I just don't know. We got them settled in Phandalin, near the community. But the habits of people of the were community, I don't know, the were rats, they're not clean. I imagine they had some hard time, but there were these kids in Phandalin that really took after us as heroes for killing the dragon. And I guess they thought they'd be heroly, went to see the were-rats, and there was some sort of kerfuffle. And I don't remember if one of the kids died or if they were just severely wounded, but they ended up after the fact in Corzin's hands because of the state they were in. So we found them, half of them dead, in Corzin's captivity. And Kanan will pull out her box and say, in historiam omnium nostrum. Open it, pull out this little bracelet with like little wooden figurines on it, some animals and some like colored beads, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
And say this belonged to one of them named Fowl, who had scratched her own neck open because of what Corzin did. And just anyone that would do such a thing to these kids, whether it be Corzin or adult were-rats, I don't know if I can trust them. So
Do you think not these were rats necessarily, but just were rats in general were responsible for the plagues on our way here, you know?
I don't
The
know. I'm
children's-
pretty sure we'd know if they were were rats. Those just look like massive rats.
Rats on steroids.
Yeah.
Just the were rats killing children and the 10-year-old's bone we found.
So, I'm not entirely clear. Do we know how the kids went from, not really the right word, but the were rats possession to Corzens? Or do we know they're even connected? Maybe we should give her a chance to explain herself.
I don't think the were-rats gave the kids to Corzin. I think the kids were just in a really bad state after running from the were-rats. And one of Corzin's agents found them, and they were obviously young talents, of which Corzin liked to take a liking to. And so they got him to do whatever kind of sick experiments Corzin did to people.
Just as a reminder for everyone except for Inira, because you weren't there, you heard this story from one of the kids in the prison on your way to fight Corzin the first time. The way that the child explained it was that they went to go kill the were-rats because they heard people in town talking about it, and they made a mistake, got caught, one of them got killed, and then they were running away and trying to recover and figure out what to do, and they got abducted in the same way that you all got attacked, the whole silence spell and all of that. So, and then they woke up in the prison. So that's just, I know it was like almost a year ago, so it's been some time. That's really close.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically,
Yeah.
you got the high points there. So just so you all will know, yeah. That's like a year in real time.
Yeah.
It's like almost a year and a half, 2 years in game time, so it's pretty good.
I've heard what you've heard, Kanan. I still am. We know that stories are often. Well, it works to hear all sides, even if we don't agree with what is said. I think that's something we like to stand for, is at least we have a chance to listen, someone who's willing to at least tell the version of the story that she's maybe curated, maybe not. But can at least hear her out, you know?
Yeah, I don't think she was a part of Corzin's thing. But I don't know. They were just kids, you know?
I know.
About this time, Ren brings over a large, just platter of food. He's like, I didn't know what you want, so I just made some stuff. And he just sort of like drops it on the table, and it kind of like clatters and falls. And he's like, all right, I'll be over there. And he goes back.
Oh, never mind.
And he's just like leaning on the bar, like
You
head
know,
in his hand.
I think he's having a. I don't need to bother him.
What were you?
I was just gonna ask if there was tea here besides coffee, but I don't think it's important enough to disturb that man and his lack of sleep, so, you know.
Well, technically, coffee is just tea, but with beans instead of leaves.
Yeah, that tastes
That's like
dirt. Makes
saying-
you feel like your heart's gonna jump out of your chest.
That is an interesting interpretation, Anira. You know, soup is technically just water with
Nope.
vegetables in it.
We're not
So-
no.
Have you
and I
heard
still
of
don't want it instead of tea.
There's a bread dish called a ravioli, and there's
That's like the spaghetti from Voss.
Where are we
there's
going?
so many things that are accidentally a ravioli. Like, if you think about it, like a
Naira,
ravioli.
I like we don't get a lot of certainties in this line of work where we choose our own hours.
You're going to drive me to day
He
drinking.
is mine, Anira, and I like it.
I'm with you there, Zarius. It's too early to be arguing about this shit.
But ravioli. Think
No.
about this.
I will not. I refuse.
Oh dear, I just.
Uncrustables are just
No.
peanut butter ravioli.
All right. As you're starting to kind of pick at this food, Frank and Zelene come up the stairs, having an intense conversation. The last bit of which that you can hear is Frank saying, "But you just got back. You can't seriously be considering going again. Jackson needs you." And Zelene interrupts him and says, "I know, but with Arcturus gone, I need to check in with ourselves in the city. We'll discuss this later." And she says as they reach the top of the stairs, says, "I promise." And they turn to see all of you. Kanan, Varus, Harriet, and your friends. Can we talk?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Zelene and Frank sit down and they say, you must have, Zelene says, "So you must have questions. I'm happy to answer any of those for you about our situation here. I know that you're not natives to Haversteep, so many of these things may be confusing. I also know that the last time you saw me, our circumstances were different. So, I am an open book."
Can I insight check that just to see how much of an open book?
Yeah.
How many questions can I get away with asking?
It's equal to the number you roll.
11.
11
She
questions.
seems like she really wants to be guarded, but she's expressing this bit of vulnerability. You're not quite sure how far that will extend, but it seems like her intention at this point it appears to be honest.
Before we get to any sort of business on the side of Haversteep, I personally would like to hear your rendition of what happened with the children in Vandalin.
I understand. It's important to build a fundamental basis of trust if we are to continue working together. Well, after you made the deal on behalf of Vandalin, my makeshift family and I moved out of the mines, just like we promised. And we went over to that old temple that you had cleared out. We didn't cause any problems along the way, and for a while I thought everything was going to be fine. We started a garden in the back, and hunted and foraged for food in the forest. And we made sure to keep clear of any travelers. I know I was a little forceful when we negotiated, but you have to understand my family was at stake. We had been run out of all of our living sites and threatened with death at every turn. I didn't want to hurt anyone, but we had become truly desperate. So we stuck to the deal. We even started fixing up the temple and the walls and everything after we had cleared out the orc bodies that, by the way, you left behind. We even figured out a way to handle the changing on the full moons. There was a root cellar underneath the floor of the priest's chamber, and we'd lock up until we changed back. It wasn't amazing, but I was with my chosen family, and it was better than we'd had in ages. Things were looking up. A few weeks later, we started seeing scouts observing us, tracking our numbers, watching our habits. It felt like they were planning an attack. We tried to scare them off, but a few days later we'd catch another scout. just watching. I heard a rumor on a trip near Phandalin that the town was getting ready to raid us and kill everyone. They even put out a call to Neverwinter for aid. I was terrified. Everything that we'd worked for, everyone I loved, was being threatened. When I brought word back to the clan, there was tension. We argued for hours about what to do. Most people wanted to negotiate. They reasoned that we made a deal and we should stick to it, and surely the people will be accommodating once more. A few of us wanted peace, to just leave. No one wanted violence. The arguments were heated and we lost track of time. By the time we started changing and the blood rage began to take over, there was only enough time to secure some in the cellar. I secured the chain and all I felt was vile anger and unfathomable hunger. I was trapped in my body, an observer imprisoned to my bestial impulses. I heard a rock tumble, a scream of pain, and my own legs pumping beneath me. In a moment I was outside, bathed in the light of the full moon, my curse in complete control. I smelled the blood of nearby humans and pounced. I can still feel the warmth of her blood on my hands, my face. The fiery pain of a flaming arrow pierced my back and gave me a moment of clarity, and I screamed at them to leave. I tried. Then the beast took over again, and I don't remember anymore. When I came to my senses, I was sitting covered in that human child's blood in front of our judgment council. They spared me from execution since I secured the nest, from everyone giving into the curse, but exiled me instead. I was told I could never return, could never join any were-rat nest anywhere ever again. Cursed and now banished, I wandered alone. I ventured as far south as Galston, all the way to the Hollow Slopes. I slept in abandoned cities and ruins and sewers and graveyards. I fought beasts and monsters and ran from hunters, trying my hardest to be peaceful. Apparently, I even earned a bounty from the Sentinels of Serenity. Something about disrupting the natural order, or some such nonsense. Eventually, one of their teams cornered me and I was forced to fight my way out. I tried to be peaceful, but they forced my hand. Anyway, I set myself on finding relief from the Sentinels, so I came here.
Well, it's good to know that it wasn't purposeful. Do you always have this problem? I don't want to force you to talk about something that's really none of our business. But if we're working with you, it kind of becomes our business. Just wondering if this happens still on every full moon, you said?
Yes, I agree with you, actually. If we are going to work together, you need to know what and who you're working with. The ordinary state of this curse it's known as lycanthropy. It comes in many forms. Every full moon, I experience a changing that's out of my control. As long as I am exposed to moonlight, on the night of the full moon, I will change. However, and during that change, I am no more aware than an animal. I'm unable to think for myself. I only act on base hunger and anger. However, here, the cloud coverage isn't natural. I'm sure you've noticed it's kind of ever-present, and it seems to dampen the effects of my curse. Usually, I don't experience any of the ordinary changing. Only on clear nights, if it happens to coincide with a full moon, will I experience that changing. And in those cases, I have methods to secure myself.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
We always hear about, or have heard about, the bad things about the clouds here. I suppose it's... Well, I'm just glad that there's some benefits to them, too.
It's been
And
a
I'm
bit
glad
of a relief.
that... I'm glad you've been connected with a newfound family, it seems, here. Under clouds that can help you keep that. Seems like you've been far punished again and again for what you didn't even have control over.
Thank you. I appreciate your words. And you see at this point, Frank has kind of put his arm around her and pulled her in closely.
Oh,
He's the beans to his
cute.
drink.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. Well, now that we've got that cleared up, just wondering if you know what you guys are getting yourselves into. Do you understand Tadriel is angelic?
It's the worst kept secret in the Towered Protectorate, I think. Yes.
Right.
I lived, when I finished my travels, I lived in Haverstead proper for a while. I was stealing, working odd jobs, living on the streets, and I saw the fear in people's eyes. I saw the oppression, the starvation, the persecution, the terror. I saw the violence inflicted by the scries, how they tore families apart nearly on a whim, how they indoctrinate children to turn on their parents, how they set the more empathetic ones on street corners to root out so-called defectors and report them for questioning. Then I saw the weeding. I couldn't sit by and do nothing. During one of the inquisitions by the scries, one of the scries had cornered a young girl, no older than that girl from Phandalin, with some of the city guards, and I knew where it was going. She'd been seeing a boy she liked after curfew, and they were set to take her away. Something came over me, and I couldn't help myself. I killed 2 of the guards with my bare hands before the scry hit me with some kind of magic. I couldn't move, I could barely breathe. She circled me, and I thought surely I was dead. Just before she could sink her dagger into my chest, I saw another man enter the alley. Arcturus. He stopped her and promised to process me himself. She agreed, apologized to him, and left. Arcturus freed me from the magic and recruited me into the Resistance. And I have been fighting ever since. That was about a year ago. I have been working since then to undermine Tadriel's efforts, to find a weakness, to plan for our eventual move against him. His death has been a problem, but not something that is unfixable. He would not want us to give up our efforts.
All right. Well, now that we know you're at least aware of the wait. What's the plan? I mean, I'm at least in. Plus, it means I'm close to an old Order of Xenia library, which I am excited to explore more of. But outside of that, to help. The guy at the counter, whose name's
Ren.
the man who Ren. Okay. Ren's only answer to my question about the scribes was to point at the wall. So I'm assuming those are all people that have been processed.
That is each person that has been taken since Tadriel came to power. There are more than 1,400 names, each taken for the weeding. Processing is different. That's where they simply disappear you, and you don't come back. The weeding happens every 3 weeks. One person is selected. A few days before the ceremony, a shock of white hair appears. The ceremony happens where they are collected by the scries and brought to the center of the city. Everyone is gathered together. Tadriel approaches after they've been tied to a stake. He drives a knife into their chest. And for the next few days, there are clear skies and sunlight. People are told it's purifying their city from bad people, from criminals, and those who want to destroy them and undermine what it means to be from Haversteep.
You said he takes them up to a stage of sorts, lays their hands on a stake and drives the knife through them?
Yes.
Varus, Harriet, didn't we witness this right after we killed the dragon?
It was after we killed Cain, I believe, not the dragon. But yes.
Except
It
for
was
killing the dragon.
when we ran into Cain.
After Cryovane.
Yeah.
There was a room in that fort up there. And yeah. And he saw us, didn't he?
I think he did.
To be clear, he saw the scrying eye, not you all in particular.
Okay.
He said, "Spying on me again, prospector," and then
Yeah,
crushed the eye. So he thought it was Corzin watching him.
Oh no.
So he doesn't know who you all are, presumably.
Well, at
But he's
least
gonna
not
make
for
us
that.
complacent.
Yeah. Sounds like he knows who we are, but probably for other reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You probably went to Comic-Con.
Yeah, there it is.
Is there... I don't know how to say this. Do we know when the next one is?
Well, the first one, or the last one, just happened maybe 4 or 5 days ago, so we have some time.
Okay.
Are they scheduled?
Every 3 weeks.
So he kills one or more people every 3 weeks? How does he keep this society I don't imagine people are just kind of popping babies every week.
This is a very big realm. This territory is several times the size of that of Falderstep. Maybe 4 or
Are there any
5
patterns?
times. So, what was that?
Are there any patterns, like for who gets chosen? Or is it just that you know of?
There are sometimes, at times, there are patterns. If they figure out one of our agents, they will be made a public example of. If someone is outspoken against this order, or about the scries, or the Weeding, or Tadriel himself, they are taken. Other times, it's just someone's grandmother. Yeah, basically, yeah. Someone's daughter, someone's grandmother, someone's son. It's been children before.
And has he been doing this ever since he took power?
Yes.
Hmm.
Once he came in, the clouds settled, and the Weeding is the only thing that provides relief.
Sounds like an excuse to me. To kill people.
He is a tyrant.
Yeah.
And the scries are like his inquisitors. They investigate crimes and complaints, they execute justice, or rather, their version of it, and they operate independently from the city guards and everyone else. They have a great deal of authority. They are all personally selected by Tadriel after completing their education at the Necropolis. Which, for those of you who are native to the area, like Xarius and Ira for sure, you know that the Necropolis is like a really prestigious school. It's like a school of magic. It's incredibly hard to get into. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's like the school if you practice magic. It's very, very, very difficult. And it's located in the actual, like, central city of Haverstein.
Wow, so we're assuming that these scries are top-notch magic casters?
Yes, Arcturus actually was he was their leader for quite some time. He was the first. He had been working as a secret agent for us, a double agent, for some time now. It was him who began this resistance movement. But someone betrayed him. Someone found out. And now he's dead.
Okay, so what's the next step? What's our plan?
Retranslating that document.
That will come, yes. Next, we will go to Haversteep, as long as you will come with me. And eventually to the mines in the hills that I can never remember the name of.
Take them to the mines of Moria.
That's right. The Rimus Mountain Range.
There.
We're going to Mordor.
You can't walk there, though.
You can't walk.
It's not that simple.
Eventually we'll go to the gold mines in the Rimus Mountain Range. I have some old friends I can call on for help there. While I'm doing that, or rather, while I'm finding out if we're still old friends, I would ask you to infiltrate the city. Learn everything you can. Expect to spend, it will take me maybe 3 or 4 weeks to make contact before we can descend into the mines ourselves. In that time, we need to reestablish communication with our cells. They likely have gone underground, not in the literal sense, but in the avoiding contact sense. And since you all are outsiders, they will know that you are not a part of this group. I will give you a seal to show them. During this time, any methods and techniques that you can use to gain information would be greatly appreciated, whether that's working at a bar or joining the city guard or anything. I don't know what your skills are exactly, but we need all the help we can get to repair the damage done by the death of Arcturus. In the meantime, we need to make 2 stops on the way there. But we can get to that later.
Oh. All right.
As far as today, take time, explore this city, enjoy it. Morstop is the last haven for those of the Resistance. Yes, Haverstein. Sorry, I changed what I wrote earlier. My notes don't line up. 1 stop on the way to Haversteep. There used to be several villages that were friendly to our efforts, and over the years they have been systematically destroyed. Grey Witch is in ruins, but that is where we must go. Arcturus indicated that in his last message to me. There is something there of power, I don't know what, but that's where we must go on our way to Haversteep if our endeavor is to have any success.
Well, if it's indicated, I think we'll take any step to success that we can take. There's not a lot of them.
I appreciate that. In the meantime, today, like I said, explore this town, enjoy the people here. It will be our last safe refuge for a little while, I think. I need time to spend with Jax and Frank. And also translating this letter with you, Zarius, if you don't mind. We can take care of that this evening. It will take several hours and likely exhaust you.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything you recommend us to see in town?
Yes. There is Tower Falls Threads if you need some new clothing. We just recently opened up one of those. Very exciting to have a chain restaurant here, or chain clothing store here. There is a, you could check out Magic Box. It's a great herbalist shop. You could go to The Goods. It's our bakery in town. Ute is quite the baker. He's very interesting.
Ute?
Ute, yes. He's
writing that one down.
Yes. Noteworthy. Will offer repairs and advice on your musical instruments. I see that some of you have.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I think we have quite the day ahead of us, exploring the town and whatnot.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Is this like a village or is this like a town? Like, is this a big...
It's like a town, so it's like twice the size of Halliston. So, maybe like 5,000 to 6,000 people, 4,000 to 5,000, somewhere in there. So it's not huge, but it's like, it can operate independently without external trade.
Yeah, Zarius is wondering if it'd be a dumb question. He's looking for a couple of spell component stuff that are specifically listed in spells, like a silver mirror and some ivory and just weird stuff like that wouldn't be in a village, but might be in a larger town.
Yeah, you can ask. Zelene might know.
Is there somewhere that would have some more unique items for spell components?
If you're looking for spell components, I would recommend collecting them here, because Haversteep has a strict ban on them. Hoyt should be able to get you anything you need. He's at Magic Box.
Is it a ban on magic or just components?
Any practice of magic is strictly restricted to the necropolis. So, you can practice it, but you must be careful. If the scries find out, you may be next for the weeding.
Got the hair.
I don't know if I should laugh at that one.
Probably not. Maybe you should dye it.
If we didn't have dark humor, we'd have no humor at all.
I suppose so. Do you know, is this a town where there's any firearms around? Might find any of that sort of thing? Or should I just think about making my own ammo?
How do you have a firearm?
Oh, I sweet talk to the right people.
Zelene is just
Are
like...
you in the market?
She's just like, thinks it's cool. She's very much just like, what? You have a gun? This is awesome.
Well, it's a long story, but, my lover has a lot of them, and she gave me this one, and I like to think I'm pretty good at it now.
She turns towards Frank and just slugs him in the shoulder and says, why don't you get me a gun?
I'm sure he has plenty of charming characteristics.
But not a gun.
Well,
you can't be self-defense.
Harriet will put her hand on her shoulder and be like, if we get some time on the road together where magic isn't allowed, maybe I'll let you fire this one.
Yes.
Does that sound like a deal?
Yes.
All right, but I've got to find and make ammo first. This stuff isn't cheap.
There is a blacksmith in Haversteep. Unfortunately, we don't have one here. We're not allowed to. Hoyt can tell you more about that. But in Haversteep, there is one who is friendly to us and our cause.
Good. Well, I know my way around a blacksmith shop, so maybe that will work out.
I hope so. If you have any other questions, everyone around town should be able to help you, but I'd like to spend the rest of the day. We leave tomorrow, if that's all right. I'd like to spend the rest of the day with Frank and Jax.
Well, you have a wonderful day. We'll definitely be making stops by the Magic Box, Noteworthy, and Tower Fall Threads.
And the goods.
The goods.
The goods.
All right, I'll be right back.
Shopping trip.
All right.
Start figuring out what New Varus is going to look like. Here, Forge, get over here.
So are we going for everybody? This is a question to the group. Are we going forward? New name thing, nicknames.
I think we should.
Probably be best.
Considering there's going to be all this talk about Vars's Vagabonds who won the that thing, and that definitely will give us a reputation wherever. Not that we're unique. Not that we are. Never mind. Going to blend in, and we aren't going to be sustaining disguises, but at least.
I don't know how much. I mean, I'm all for changing names, but I don't know how much it'll help with. We are a very distinct group of individuals. Unique. There's not going to be. I don't know how many people who would know us if we gave them our name wouldn't know us by looks alone.
could always say, well, we also had this guy named Voss in our group, and we were really inspired by the famous... never mind. Sounded better in my head.
Right. I feel like maybe trying to... I mean, I got new clothes that I didn't wear at the last fight. I just went in my wraps in the last fight, so I will have different clothes. Or I am in different clothes from what people saw, but there's not much you can hide about me being an orange cat, so...
About this time, Frank, Zelene, and Jax come back down the stairs, and Zelene says, I think I overheard you talking about changing your name or appearance or something.
We were just deliberating. There's certain circles where we might be kind of known, and just talking about if that would be an issue.
We shouldn't be going around as the Vagabonds.
Why?
Or...
well, you told us a lot about yourself, right? Can we...
Yeah, I think it's fine.
So
She's going to learn anyways when she...
Well, okay, Voss over there. So we normally go by the name Voss as Vagabonds. We kind of won this little tournament thing over in Renavosh.
You're champions in Renavosh.
Yes, so we're a bit known, one might say. A bit wanted for things we may or may not have done and may or may not have killed. But that's all.
We may have taken care of some of Tadriel's compatriots already.
Let's just say,
So he probably doesn't like us too much.
we don't like tyrants.
She smiles kind of knowingly and says, Tadriel doesn't have compatriots. And the people
But the shepherd does. And we took care of them.
I assure you, Tadriel is not friendly with any of the shepherd's lieutenants. If news traveled around the rest of the world, it wouldn't breach the walls of Haversteep.
That's comforting.
Well, we know that he knows of us, and we have dethroned a tyrant, per se, so we could pose a threat to him. Two of them, sorry.
He may know. No one else knows.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh.
Works for me.
Anyway,
So
we're off to the park.
Okay.
Enjoy yourself.
Guess we can stay ourselves then.
So is there just no scenario where he'd communicate to his guards like, oh, if you see these people, shoot them in the face or something? I don't know what guards do.
But I could
Didn't he
shoot
say
first.
he wants us to be complacent? We can't really be complacent if we're shot in the face.
Well, you can be very complacent if you're dead.
You're starting to sound like Demesis.
Who?
An old friend.
Both Inira and Sky have no idea who that is.
Please
Everyone
don't use my body without my consent after I've died.
Got a DNR!
Everyone else in the party just starts sweating.
Well, I promise I will not use any of your bodies after death.
Thank you.
Harriet just downs the coffee. One swig.
For real.
There's a lot you don't know about me that I don't want to get into. Anyway, what are we doing? And she just kind of beelines out the door.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Well, Harriet's jittering from the coffee as like a not coffee drinker. She's like slightly buzzing.
Didn't even fully swallow it, just
Her eyes
already
are
like in
open a little more.
anticipation.
She inhaled the coffee.
As Sky is drinking coffee at 6 p.m.
All right. Well, you finish up your breakfast, head outside, and you see the town before you. It's got cobblestone streets. The buildings are all kind of this drab gray color like you saw before, built from stone and mortar together. But they all have that kind of gray, concrete-like appearance. It feels a lot like Seattle did in the Cypher. Just very, flat, one color, monochromatic kind of feeling. The ceilings have that, or the roofs of the buildings have that kind of rusted tin roof appearance. But the people, as you're walking around now, seem happy to have the sunlight. They seem a lot more refreshed and energized. And you see that the puddles that are found in the potholes in the streets are actually starting to dry up, surprisingly. As you walk around, it seems word has spread that you are to be trusted and treated friendly. Everyone seems to know that you're there to help, kind of attitude. But you have the town. It's not huge. You could explore it all in probably an hour, walk around the whole thing, so whatever you'd like to do.
Okay. Zarius, you wanted spell things? Sorry, George.
No, you're fine. Yes, I have a couple of things I was looking for that might be helpful in future situations. I think we maybe pay this Hoyt guy. I can read my own handwriting.
All right.
A visit.
Cool.
I support that. I definitely want to go visit this Ute. See if
I want to find
good scones.
I want to find this herbalist. Which I'm there now. I beelined out the door, but I waited for y'all.
Okay. All right, so you set out to find Magic Box. You look around, and again, it's really... Oh, did you end up checking Arcturus? No. Nobody looked him over. You walk just down the street a little ways, and you see it just is like a flat sign with a box on it, and it just says Magic Box.
It's just a box.
Yeah, it's just a box. But you go in, and the place is pretty well organized. It feels very much like a tourist shop as you enter in there. The whole thing is really staged to get you to buy stuff, right? It kind of forces you through the aisles. There's all these kinds of knickknacks and high-selling items at the front. He's got a big, that row of containers of just different types of rocks everywhere, different polished rocks. That is just rock, but people like to buy those. And then you see towards the back, there's shelves of books that look to be just kind of history books or lore on different things in the area. You kind of peek through a little bit, just trying to find what might be there. It's a lot of history and legends and all these things. And you notice as you're actually just two people make an intelligence check to see what you notice. Just a general intelligence check.
I'll make one.
I'll make one, sure.
All right.
Intelligence is here, and my screen is over there.
Okay, 20 and 12. Average between you is pretty good. You notice that all of the author names on all of these books are just anagrams of the same name. And you know this because it's only 4 letters long. It's just Hoyt. It's all Hoyt. It's just all rearrangements of that. So this guy has just written a bunch of fake lore, it looks like, about the area and is putting it all up for sale.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
That's
We
great.
love a businessman.
Yeah, and you see just a ton of behind the counter, you see a lot of legitimate spell components. Stuff that looks innocuous on its face, but definitely has the potential to be used for these different things. As you all are kind of looking around the space, and Ira, what did you do with your prismatic bird that definitely died when you went to hell?
She was, I imagine she was left in Balthazar's. I didn't actually take her to hell, but I left her in Balthazar's.
All right, so that bird is definitely gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he doesn't care.
I know.
Okay, just making sure. There was going to be a thing if you'd carried it with you, but...
No, she's
All right.
Dead
dead.
bird corpse on his shoulder.
Yeah, it's just a hardened, those toy
Taxidermy.
birds that still tweet when you squeeze them. No, she was in Balthazar's and probably was killed by the
Flew out the
brambles because
window.
they're dicks. Yeah,
Come on.
the underground window.
I got scared by one of the times
Guts.
Balthazar was practicing with his block and just like yeeted it out of the
She just had a-
Alfie's got a
I mean,
gun.
birds do have panic attacks from
Alfie's
fireworks,
got a
so
gun.
That's
Guts.
like all I wrote that session too.
Yo, my
That
brother
and Secret
unironically said the name Balthazar to me this week, and I completely forgot he was a character in Despicable Me 2, and I had
Oh.
such like a confusion as to why my brother was just talking about our favorite Red
he watched
Bull
her
drinking.
streams.
Yeah. No, the bird got trapped in one of the pass walls. It just crushed to stone by stone when it.
Yeah.
So, in 1,000 years,
Thanks,
they're gonna
Alfie.
excavate it, and they're gonna find this fossil.
Thanks.
They're gonna
Alfie.
construct
right there
it
next
out
to a
really
guinea pig.
wrong. It's gonna be like a
Okay.
This is why you don't
massive
give me
fans and
pets, because
stuff.
I have ADHD and I forget about them.
So the other thing that you notice as you're walking around this space is that there are like herbs and things that can be used in potions, but there is a distinct lack of the things necessary to make healing potions, poisons, and there are no precious gems on display. No diamonds, no like rubies or emeralds.
Oh.
But as you get like towards the counter area, you see the guy. He's dressed very neatly. He's got like tweed on, like a tweed jacket, like a blazer.
Nice. Nice.
You see, he's got glasses that he keeps adjusting, like back up onto his face. He says, hello. It's nice to see you. I see that you don't have any products with you.
Yes, I don't know about my friends here, but I'm looking for something specific.
His assistant, who's standing behind the counter, says, "You should buy something. You're customers."
Yes, well, that's the plan if you have something that I need.
Oh my gosh.
There are all kinds of items here. Surely you're not such a cheapskate that you wouldn't pick one up and buy it.
Do you have tea?
She looks at Hoyt and says, "Do we have tea?" He's like, "No, Anya, we don't."
Anya! Wait, this is Sky being like, Anya, that name's familiar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Every shop.
I was gonna say, she was the
Bless.
I just
She
like
was-
the
Unless
name.
you've seen
Renabot.
Buffy.
well, that was the little girl that had the bracelets in Renabot.
Yeah. Unrelated.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, Anira's definitely digging through the containers of rocks.
Okay. Anya says, "Please don't touch those unless you're buying them. In that case, touch all of them and buy all of them, please."
She keeps digging.
Anya comes over and just stands right behind, just hovering, and
Is
just
this
like
lush?
counting as you're moving each one.
This is absolutely what it's like to shop in Lush.
Hoyt says, I apologize for my assistant. She's rough around the edges.
Enthusiastic.
Yes.
Well, I was actually a more rather ornate silvered mirror, if that's something you would have.
A man of culture, I see. Give me just a moment. It
We
goes.
just all look really attractive and like.
So Matt
so-
knows I'm looking for a silvered mirror worth at least 1,000 gold pieces for the scrying spell.
Okay.
So
He steps out from the corner, goes to the right, and you see the library there. And there's a little, it's like a short ladder that goes up to the second floor. And you see a little rope sign there that says, "Do not cross, employees only." And he moves it to the side, climbs up the ladder, gets up on the little, it's like a half wall there, gets up, and you see, from where you're at, you can just see the top row of a set of books. It looks like that's like the more exotic stuff. He goes and crouches down, and you hear a little click, like a and then just a gentle sort of as he is doing something, and then you hear a kind of rustling noise, like pulling stuff around each other, and then you hear just a little again, and then he comes back down, and he's holding a really elaborate looking silver mirror. It's about this big. It's got a really beautiful gold frame. It's got the olive branch leaf thing around the edge. I can't remember what it's called, the laurel leaf or whatever it's called, around the edges of it. And the mirror itself is very reflective. The backside of it looks like it has a signature from whoever made it. He comes back around to the counter, sets it down, and says, "A silvered mirror."
And then would I be able to tell off of some kind of check if that would work for the purposes, or
Sure, make an intelligence
would
check.
it just be
Actually, for you, it'd be wisdom.
Sure.
Just a general wisdom check.
wisdom?
It definitely would do it.
Yeah. And how much would you be looking for something of this quality?
For this, it is the only one I've got, and they are kind of hard to come by. Maybe 1,700 gold.
Check how much I have on me. Shoot, my comment's about to sort of bite me in the butt now.
Horace will lean over to you and say, if you need a loan, Zarius, I can help.
I've got 15 on me at the moment.
Yeah, if we're Zarius, I'm assuming I trust you in your money spending, except for that other part of your
I know.
life.
I'll
I'm
trade you.
willing I'll put in 500.
Anya
Horace,
shouts from
platinum.
Anya shouts from next to Anira towards you all. We offer combination deals if you spend more money.
Okay, well, we know Anira's probably buying rocks.
Any of the rest of you need anything?
You don't happen to have any really fancy swords, do you?
We're not allowed to have weapons here in Morstop. It's kind of a
I
pain
guess
in the
that's-
ass because we have to go all the way to Haversteep to get our farm equipment repaired because we can't have a blacksmith. But
What?
I do have some special items. Give me just a moment. They're my own creation. I will be right back. And he goes behind this bead curtain that's behind the counter. And you hear like a bunch of cabinets opening and closing. He's going through. And he brings out this small tray. It's like a silver platter almost. It's fake silver, but it's a silver platter. And he sets it down, and you see a few different smaller like teacup plates around all, each with a different item on them, a different substance on them.
You just have the plates.
Where's by the way?
Says, this here we have Tumrot, and he points at one. It's like a thick kind of like taffy substance. It's like black in color. And he says, we have Gaffy. It's this yellow powder. It's granular, kind of like cane sugar almost. And he says, here we have Ginger Puff, and it's like these little teeny tiny little biscuits. They're really flaky looking. And then this is Ligon. And it's just this like, Ligon is like it's like a paste, almost like a bluish kind of paste, like toothpaste, like Crest toothpaste.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar. What are these? I know you named them, but
Well, they are of my own design. I do what I can without the access to regular supplies due to the restrictions. But Tumrot here is, and he points to the taffy one. It's a little bitter. It'll take you, it's quite chewy. It takes maybe 10 minutes to eat, to choke down. But it will aid you against poison.
all right.
So,
Like forever, or
For some time. I believe, I think I have a note card here somewhere. And he goes and like looks under the counter and pulls out this box of like index cards, and he flips through. He pulls one out. Ah, yes, Tumrot. It provides immunity to poison for 1 hour and immediately cures non-magical poison. Oh, I have a note here. Causes stomach aches for 24 hours. So, if that's what you need.
do any of these turn into swords?
Excuse me?
Do they turn into swords?
I don't know how they would.
Maybe swords in your stomach for 24 hours.
All right. So this mirror, do you have any fancy cloaks, capes, things like that?
This is an herbalist store? Or a library, perhaps? You could maybe stretch it to be a library, but it's certainly not a clothing store.
Oh,
You could go to Tower Falls Threads.
I've been thinking about clothes all day. I'm a fashionista.
I see that. Oh, well, for you, actually, maybe these ginger puffs would be more fitting.
Oh, how much are they?
Points to the flaky biscuits. These are relatively inexpensive. If bought with the mirror, I would add on only 20 gold for the entire lot. And you see there's about 8 of them. These, let me find the card here. He flips through, pulls it out. They're simply delicious. Tastes like ginger, hint of honey, and, well, maybe I should leave it at that.
I'm gonna buy them anyway, so you can tell me the bad stuff.
Well, it might make you incredibly attractive to people in the twilight of their lives for a few hours.
That's Varus every day, I think.
I was going to say, that's already me. So, like I said, I'm going to buy them anyways. 1720?
In the twilight
Yes.
of their lives.
It's an
Alright.
unintended side effect.
I'm going to use it explicitly for that purpose.
Oh, all right.
As a joke.
Sure. This here, and he points to the gaffy. It's in like a little vial. It looks like that granular yellow powder. It says, gaffy here, and he flips through, pulls the card out. About a third of this container poured onto your tongue will make you energetic and focused temporarily. It says here that it will delay the effects of exhaustion for 4 hours.
Buy that one for Ren.
So Ren, I don't think could handle the side effects. At the end of this 4 hours, you will be hit with double the exhaustion.
Okay, never mind.
So it's a temporary, some would say, get the hell out of town use, and then you're going to need to rest somewhere. But if you need to run, this will help.
How much is that?
This one is 15 gold.
15 gold for one portion?
For one vial. There are 3 vials on the teacup. So one vial is 3 uses.
Okay.
So 45 gold for all 3, which would be 9 uses.
Yeah, I'll buy all 3.
Excellent. And Anya comes up behind you and just puts her hands on your shoulders from behind, not like grabbing you or anything, but just, you're my favorite customer.
Oh my goodness. Have any of you guys seen Buffy?
A long time ago.
This is Anya from Buffy.
He points over to the last thing, which he described as ligin. It's like a whitish powder, like flour almost, with just a tinge. Or sorry, that's the wrong one. Ligin is like a bluish paste. It's like Crest toothpaste in color. He says this. It does something with your eyes. And he takes his glasses off and kind of rubs them in his shirt, puts them back on. I haven't quite figured out exactly what kind of sight it gives you, but it makes my vision all weird. Sometimes I see ghosts, other times angels. I don't quite know how it works, but I've been able to replicate the effect several times, so I can make it reliably. It lets you see extra stuff.
Harriet licks her eyes. I think I'm good on the seeing.
How much was that poison one?
Poison one. This is only 5 gold per serving, and I have 3 servings here, so 15 gold for the lot.
Okay, I'll take that one then. And if we're buying this Mirrors Areas, I'll contribute 500.
I as well.
2, 3, 4. Alright, so is that everything?
And Ira, how many of those rocks do you want?
She's got a steady handful going and is still picking through. Not really. She's very focused on the rocks.
Right. How much are those rocks gonna cost?
Hoyt says, well, I mean, the whole bin only costs 50 gold, so however much she wants to buy, we'll call it 15 gold, since you're buying the rest.
Putting our total at what? Zarius, you're doing the math. I can't keep track of all those numbers.
Yeah, 30, 75, 95, 1795, I think.
That's fine.
I think.
Yeah, sure.
I think it was 1700, 20, 15, 45, 15.
Yeah, don't count Kanan's. She's just gonna.
Yeah, don't count.
Okay.
Anira's just gonna pay for hers because she has so much gold. And
Are
also
we not a
platinum.
group? Are we not a family?
I think we were
Well, we
playing
are.
that
I
Found
already
family, but
subtracted
separate
it
bank
from my
accounts.
thing.
I don't share a bank account with my mom.
I've already subtracted the 45 from my gold, so I don't want you guys to
Deduct
As work expenses
that.
when we pay our taxes? Are these deductible?
What are we buying? We're buying the mirror. We're buying the good tasting ginger that makes me attractive to old people. We're buying the poison resistant 10-minute eating challenge.
You're buying everything
then-
but the ligand at the end.
Yeah.
We've seen enough.
And so that's what we're all buying. So that's what? Can we just call it 1,700 gold and make it easier?
You can call it 1800.
That's not what I said. I said 1,700. That's a substantial amount.
I understand, but this is the only mirror like this that exists.
And what,
In
you
all of
expect to sell it to
history?
Jim down the street?
You never know who might walk into town. You walked into
That's-
town.
This is true. So 1,750 it is.
1750 it is.
And I'm paying for 50 or 500.
And Anya just stands there, just aghast. You can't give them a discount. And he's like, Anya, it's fine. It's fine.
Darius will give 1,500. So if Forrest does 50, then at least.
Oh, I already said
No,
I'd
I'm
give you
doing-
500.
I'm in,
so-
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I'm in
hold
50
on.
platinum, so I'm doing 500.
Oh,
I'm
guys.
doing 500.
So you have
All right,
750.
750.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay.
Probably about now that Anira will walk up with her handfuls of rocks
Okay.
and place them down.
Okay, I've got Tumbrot. Writing it down.
So you have 3 servings of Tumrod.
How many of the ginger puffs? 8?
8 of them, yeah.
And when we were walking in, were there any in terms of nature stuff, any weird stuff,
There's a few
It's
strange...
just in the shop.
Yeah, there's a few weird carvings of things made from petrified wood and those kinds of things. But all of it immediately was just tourist crap. Nothing seemed legitimate. Seems like this guy's understanding of herbs and stuff is really the only natural understanding that he has. He doesn't seem like he practices nature magic or anything like that.
Yes, green thing is nature.
Right, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it
Cool.
seems like he's got an extensive knowledge of herbs in his garden, but and he's
Yeah.
making what he can, but he's definitely not like a practitioner of magic or anything like that.
Okay. So it will just be the rocks.
Okay. You get a lot of nice rocks.
Yeah. Of varying sizes and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
15, you said?
Yeah, 15 gold.
Now we have a thing I can use to maybe distract people. How many rocks do you want to say? 2 Anira handfuls.
I'd say 75 rocks.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can distract people 74 times because I want to keep one for myself.
So
Yeah.
many rocks.
It's like that playground gravel size, like teeny
Oh.
tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was picturing in when you stop in in the pass or something like Snoqualmie Pass, and it's like those shops with the rock. That was what I was picturing.
Yeah. Smaller than those normally are, but yeah. Anya approaches and says, "All right, well, you've made your purchases. Please make way for other paying customers."
Yes.
Scoops the
ma'am.
rocks into her
Yes,
pouch.
Hoyt says,
Shuffle
"Goodbye.
out of the store.
Thank you. Please come back soon."
See you later, Anya.
Anya just waves very happily at you. Okay. All right, you back out on the street. You've got your magic mirror.
Yeah.
Mirror,
or
mirror on the
rather,
wall.
Really expensive mirror. So,
Very expensive mirror.
yeah.
So, Zaries, what does that mirror do?
It allows me to visually check in on people over long distances.
How many times can you do that with that mirror?
The mirror itself isn't used up, but it's very taxing on me. I can probably only do it once or twice a day.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
It's probably what Corzin used to spy on people, if I had to take a guess.
Huh.
So it's a tool for our arsenal, finding information.
Right. Well, please don't spy on me.
I would need to, you're right here. I'm
Good
teasing.
deal. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
All right, where to next? You've got the goods or noteworthy.
Boss, you wanted...
Or Tower Falls Thread, sorry.
You were talking about clothes in there. Want to make sure you're... if you're going to be romancing the town, make sure you're at least looking good.
I always
But-
look good, but yes, I am thinking about clothes. We don't need to do that right now, but
By the way, what are we doing with that robe we picked up way back with Corzin?
What?
The robe of the Magi or whatever.
I'm literally
I still
wearing it
have-
Boss,
right
have it
now.
on right
Oh, you
now.
are? Why
I'm
is it
literally
in my
wearing
bag?
it right now, Zarius.
Boss, he's
Let me
been
delete
wearing
that out of
it.
my inventory. I don't know why.
Taken care of. That's what we're doing with it.
It's okay. We know your ears are far more perceptive than your eyes, so it's all right.
Yeah.
But yes, so I do at some point want to go there, but we don't have to go there yet, just for me. We can give you other things that you guys want to do.
Snack break then
Yes.
with Ute.
All right, headed over to the goods.
Whatever. It was a long negotiation for this meal. We gotta fuel up.
All right, so you head down the little market street there, and you see this really large windowed building, which is kind of odd in this place. And you see inside of it this enormous gray-skinned Goliath. Just this huge,
Yeah.
like 8-foot tall guy, super muscly. He's got these tattoos that run all over his back and up his neck and everything. Completely bald, top to bottom. And he's just like, just punching the dough on the counter that he's kneading. I mean, he's
Yeah.
really just getting in there. But yeah, it smells fantastic as you pass by this door. Do you enter in?
Yeah, we do. Well, at least Harriet does.
All right. You enter in and you immediately see, you feel the presence of this guy. He's just a gigantic, like a mountain of a man. Just this huge, shirtless, just wearing a loincloth kind of attitude.
King behavior.
Yeah. Above the counter, you see some enormous stone knuckles that are mounted there. They look like they would fit over his hands like brass knuckles. And then as you come in, he says, "Oh, welcome to the goods.
Oh my goodness, are you Ute?
I am Ute."
Well, that's wonderful. I heard you might be the best baker in this town.
Yes.
And I'm a very hungry person who likes to eat pastries. So I think we're a good match.
Well, I've got the pastries for you. And he goes like under the counter and pulls out just tray and sets it down, another tray and sets it down, another tray. And it's like donuts and scones and like muffins and the whole counter is just covered in baked goods of all these different kinds. Take your pick.
My goodness.
I've got everything.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to take some scones. That one's my favorite. But what is your specialty, would you say? Ute's specialty here.
I go for the Ute fruit. And he goes and pulls
The Ute fruit?
fresh out the oven, and he just reaches in the oven and grabs the tray, and you hear his hands just he's like, "Oh, hot, 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 hot." And he sets it down on the counter, and it's just like sizzling on the counter. You could smell the wood burning from the hot thing there. I always forget it's so hot in there. But you see,
Yeah, it is.
they're like, it's like a raspberry or blackberry filled or stuffed, like I'm trying to think of how to describe it, like a muffin, almost. Like he combined the idea of like a stuffed or a filled donut with a muffin. So it's just like this oozing kind of blackberry sauce coming out of it. He says, before you can have that, allow me just one moment. And he goes and he grabs a big like piping tube, just squeezes out a mound of frosting on the top of each one of them. And it's just like melting into all of it. Yeah. Enjoy your Ute fruit.
All right, I would like, how many of us are there here? 5, and then the 3, that's Jax, Frank, and, okay, so, probably one for Ren too, he probably deserves it. Okay, 9 Ute fruits.
Did you say Jax?
Yes, I did.
I have a special order for Jax. And he goes back into the back and comes out. I give this to Jax when Frank's not looking. And he goes and he takes it's like he holds it really daintily and hands it. It's a huge bag. And it's just full of like glazed donuts.
Well, if you trust me to pass it on, I want to partake in this, I don't want to blow your cover.
I think you can be very stealthy.
It's one of us, you. All right, then 9, 8, 9, whatever, 9. Why not? Just give me a dozen of scones and a dozen Ute fruits, because I love pastries and that's easier.
You better get it to Jax, though, because I made him a promise. And if I don't fulfill the promise, then, well, I'll have to put on the knuckles and come and find you.
Okay, I'll definitely fulfill it. Don't worry, Ute.
He leans on the counter as he says this to you, and his arm is the size of your torso. Like he's a behemoth of a guy.
Yeah, Harriet's like 2 feet shorter than him. Even at 6'7".
Yeah. He's a big guy.
Yeah. She's like, don't worry, these are just for Jax. Nobody else.
All right, good. And he like gets all the stuff together. And he's just like picks up the tray and just slides everything into a bag. Picks up the next one, slides it into another bag. Hands them over to you. Now, for the math. Let's see, I never could do this part. How much is this worth?
Oh, I'm kind of new here. I don't. How many? I'm not good at math either. How about 10 gold?
You see him kind of go back and he starts to count on his fingers. Carry the 1. 10 gold it is.
She'll pass him over just way too much money to tons of pastries, but she's hyped about them, so it doesn't matter.
He takes it and just scoops them all up in his giant hand and slams it into a bucket he's got behind the counter.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm really looking forward to these Ute, and I'll for sure get those to Jax. See
Thank you.
that in.
Oh, you
How long
remind
have
me
you-
of my daughter.
What's your daughter's name, Ute?
Well, she's not so scaly as you are, but she's... Well, and he gets kind of this distant, sad look in his eyes. Well, her name was Ava.
Oh. Well, I'm sure she was beautiful, Ute.
She was. She had her dad's hairline.
Oh, then I'm sure she was just striking, Ute.
Yeah, she was taken for the weeding.
Oh.
It was like
Sorry
2
to hear
years
that.
ago. And he starts to, like, you know, get all choked up, and you can see tears forming, and
Oh dear. I'll make sure to take the time to look at her name back at Frank and Beans for you.
could I just have a hug?
Yes, you could, Ute. I guess she'll come around the corner because she's too tiny to like reach it.
He just, like, both arms, and he's squeezing the life out of you. You take, like, a
Doesn't
point
matter.
of bludgeoning damage from him just crushing you in his arms. And he starts just bawling, just tears running down the sides of his face.
Oh. Oh, that's all right, Ute. Oh, you give wonderful hugs.
And he just, thanks, my cat didn't think so.
Oh, well, I think so, Ute.
She scratched me. I had to bury her.
Oh, no.
But thanks for your words and your money.
Always. Thanks for the hug and the pastries, Ute.
I didn't hurt you, did I?
Oh, no, not at all. You know, I think pastries are healing to the soul, so, you probably heals me, if anything.
I agree. And he just reaches into the oven and grabs one of the things that's still cooking and just eats it.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
pretty
my
hot.
goodness.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Oh, take care, Ute. Oh, and she'll just, like, kind of tap, like, his wrist, because that's what she can reach.
Thank you. And you come back whenever. I'll make some Ute fruit just for you and your friends.
Oh, that's so kind, Ute. I'm sure we'll try and stop by again. Anybody else?
Can I also have a hug?
Of course. And he just reaches over and picks you up off the ground over the counter. And he's just squeezing you. And you take a point
Mars
of...
is like in half.
Yeah, just a point of bludgeoning damage.
Just one.
Yeah. It's emotional support, Baker.
Thanks, Ute.
And he just lets you go and you fall, like, over the counter.
Harriet will grab the back of your, like, scruff of your neck.
Anyone else who wants hugs, come on.
I'm good.
Darius, I think you would love it. Darius?
Sure, why not? Darius will walk over and take his point of hug damage.
Yep, just squeezing you.
It's healing, guy.
Give it.
Sorry, my bad.
Concede to the hug damage.
Consume the hug.
And I know you said you didn't want one, but can I give you a hug anyway? I'll be real gentle. I learned from my cat.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll give you a hug.
Okay. And he leans over and just, like, is barely touching you. Like, just barely touching you.
Well, thank you. You're really kind.
And you're okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, that's
I
good.
didn't scratch you, did I?
No, I'm okay.
All right.
Well, I guess we should let you get back to the rest of your baking and letting those cool down.
Oh, my muffins are burning in the other oven. He runs out.
My muffins. Better. Never mind. I was gonna say something about the Muffin Man, but I
Do you all
past
remember
life.
that? Do y'all remember that really weird dream? Did y'all have a really weird dream about fighting a muffin man?
I try not to.
What?
Yeah. Muffin Man. I don't really know him.
Wasn't it like?
I'm going home.
Wasn't the guy's name like Gordon?
Gordon.
It was.
Okay.
It's like inverse Gordon Ramsay.
Yep. All right, so yeah, Ute is gone from the goods, apparently to some other oven, out of sight and out of the story. For now, so you have Noteworthy you can go to, or Tower Falls Threads, or you can just go back and finish translating the letter.
Go to Noteworthy.
I'm going with Kanan. If we're not, I'll go.
I'm passing out Ute fruits to everybody.
Okay. They're amazing.
one?
They're so good. It's like the best pastry you've eaten. It's like a blackberry
Made
stuffed
with
thing.
soul.
Yeah. The frosting is like a honey base, so it's super good.
My mouth.
It's amazing. But you head over to to Noteworthy, and you see just musical notes painted on the outside of the building. It's just like artistic graffiti all over the side of the building, just hand carved or drawn, painted. It's just a beautiful, feels very artsy urban style. But you enter in and you hear just this music very actively playing as you go in. Let's put us actually inside somewhere. But you enter in and you see a few musicians playing about the space and just trying out different instruments. All along all the walls is just different styles of instruments. You see flutes, pipe instruments, you see fiddles, different kinds of drums, and all these different just weird styles of instruments that you've never seen before. It all feels a little exotic. It's definitely, you see the common instruments as well, but it definitely feels like there's a really wide variety of instruments available here. Behind the counter, you see a youngish looking woman who's maybe trying to be a little younger than she actually is, with kind of long dreadlocks, fastened every so often with a hair tie, wearing a flower patterned dress, very tan. She's extremely tan, way more tan than she should be for living in Haversteep and under the cloud coverage all the time. But you hear her talking with another patron there, just a middle-aged man, and she's just saying, "That's so good for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm just really happy to see that you're living you." And they're just chit-chatting basically.
Howdy.
Oh, hey, whoa, you're from out of town, huh?
Yeah. I was just
It's great to
wondering
see
if
you.
could... Thanks. I was just wondering if you could take a look at my fiddle.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need the strings replaced. It's been a while since I've taken care of an instrument. Actually, I don't know much about taking care of them. I just know how to play it. So.
Well, hey, like I always say, taking care of it's half the fun of playing it. Let's see what you got.
All right, and she'll just pull it out of her bag.
Her eyes go wide when she sees it. She's like, wow. I heard legends about this.
Really?
Yeah, this is Gwendolyn Wildgloom's violin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, and she picks it up and Just sort of looks it over and plucks each of the strings individually. Just like, wow, I thought this was just like one of those, legends and stuff that people hear and say, but this is so good for you. Wow.
Thanks. I don't know if maybe you could walk me through real quick how to keep up with it, keep it nice.
Yeah. Do you mind if I just play it?
Sure. Just be gentle.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, careful. She picks it up and starts playing, and this incredible, beautiful melody fills the air. You see just the essence of the musical notes drifting about the space. This sort of prismatic colored light just sort of filtering about, circles around the room, and everyone else in the place, as they're playing and trying out these different instruments, drifts into harmonization and playing around with the melody at the same time as this person, her name's Gwen, sorry, as Gwen's leading this piece. I don't know enough about musical terms to tell you the right thing. Everyone else just sort of falls into sync, and you all feel the same rhythm kind of pulsing throughout the room as she plays, and this beautiful music plays out everywhere. You all feel refreshed and inspired. Everyone gets a D4 of Bardic Inspiration. She stops playing and says, I don't know why you need me. This thing's in perfect condition.
Oh, good. I just found it in the underground and didn't know if it needed any work.
Wow, underground is that's just so good for you. Wow. What I would recommend is that you practice with this. Because, instruments get lonely, and they need to be played.
Yeah, I'll start playing it more often.
Yeah, that'd be good for you.
And I'm sure this was good for you. Thank you.
Oh, here, before you go,
Very
since you gave me the pleasure of playing that, I have a gift for you, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not every day you get to play a legendary fiddle. Give me a sec here. And she goes, reaches down under the counter and pulls a box out, sets it down, opens the box, just like an old shoe box, basically. Pulls the top off, and you see inside are golden strings, super thin, like a hair breadth. She says, these are supposed to go with that.
Really?
Yeah, I came across it, I don't know, like 40 years ago, and just been hanging on to them ever since. So, I figured they should go back where they came from, right? They should be together again. They miss each other. I can hear them talking about it.
You can hear them talking about it?
Well, sure. I mean, you don't hear your instrument?
I mean, I hear it when I play it.
No, you gotta hear it. You gotta hear the personality of it. It's got its own feelings. You gotta treat it with respect.
Oh, like talk to it?
You could talk to it. You gotta find out what it likes and, the types of songs it likes to play, the types of stories it likes to tell. You gotta work together with it. You're partners, right?
I guess.
Well, if you're not,
Well,
you should
how
give it up
much
to someone else who wants it to be its partner.
You're right. I was just gonna ask how much the strings are.
Oh, no charge. Yeah, they won't work with anything else, so pretty much just for
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you. And Kanan will go ahead and pull out a 1 platinum. Because I don't know what to do.
She picks it up and looks it over, kind of like bemused by the coin, and Well, I appreciate that, but really, it's okay. And she pockets it. I'm just glad that I can make them together again, you know? It's so good for them.
Yeah. Thank you very much for playing and for telling me about it. I'm gonna go.
All right, well, hey. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and I hope that's good for you. And Kanan will just leave.
Okay.
I don't know.
Really quick meta question from player to DM.
Sure.
And Ira probably know this. Is Gwendolyn Wildgloom like confirmed dead? Like, is she?
Make a history check.
Can Sky make a history check?
You're not sure. You've heard conflicting reports.
Okay.
Most people believe that she's dead.
Okay, only because you mentioned Gwen,
Yeah.
and it's Gwendolyn Wildgloom. So that's Sky being meta, but Anira wouldn't pick up on that probably.
I don't want that to be Gwendolyn.
Yeah, we just took her fiddle back. But she gave us the strings if it was Gwendolyn Wildgloom. Well, I would have been able to tell if she was Circle of Spores, right?
Maybe. I think you all are making a lot bigger deal about this than...
I know.
I've only got so many names, okay?
There's a chair in the room.
Yeah.
What's the chair made of? How many legs are on this chair?
That sure looks like it's seen some things.
So the rest of you want to do anything inside of Noteworthy? Pick up any new instruments or anything?
Pars probably walked in and listened to the conversation, but then was like, nope.
Okay.
Goodbye.
This seems like a fairly basic instrument. It's just like a music shop. You know, there's nothing untoward or magical going on.
Can Anira look around and see if there's any like weird instruments? You know?
Yeah, you see a few just strange like stringed instruments. You know, they have odd resonances. You wouldn't know the first thing about how to play them. But yeah, there's some pretty bizarre looking ones. It's like a guitar, but instead of the normal shape of a guitar, it's like long. So it creates this nice like wow 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 effect when you strum it. It's like it's echoing inside the resonating chamber. You see a bunch of different types of drums. That's kind of the hot item, it looks like. Just like big, you know, big round ones and narrow little ones and whatever. So, but nothing really like super crazy.
Could she grab one of the like smaller drums?
Yeah, no problem.
And just like poke it? Not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes a nice little bonk.
Boom. Alright. She would like to purchase.
Okay. Take it up to the front and Gwen says, wow, this is like the perfect drum for you. It's so good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's 2 gold.
2, okay. I will give her 3 gold.
Wow, thank you so much. That drum's gonna be so good for you.
Thank you. Okay. She'll just leave.
All right. Sounds great. All right, so...
Harriet's eating a scone in the back.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. So you've got Noteworthy taken care of? You gonna stop by Tower Falls Threads or no?
George, you're muted, by the way. But
Jevin is furiously nodding.
Said, oh yeah, Bars has got to go get his suit.
yeah, I think Voss has waited long enough. We're about to go clothes shopping.
You say that like I've been hounding you guys the whole time. I should have taken care of your shit first. And then we
Okay, Vars, we'll go.
Fine.
I'm not that selfish. Let's go.
All right. Make your way over. You see the sign you've come to recognize. It's like a long tower that's made out of a spool of thread. Tower Falls Threads. And enter in. You see just the same, it's exactly carbon copy of the one you saw in Renovash. It's identical, aside from the person behind the counter. Whatever, mannequins are in the same exact places. They're wearing a slightly different styling of clothing, just because seasons change and those kinds of things. But pretty much everything is exactly the same. The guy behind the counter in this one just looks like someone from the town. There's an older man who's got like a graying, salt and pepper kind of scruff. And then there's a younger guy, maybe like 16, 17. Seems to be like an apprentice style learning.
So, refresh my memory. Is this like we walk up to them and get something tailored, or do they have stuff like on the shelves?
Yeah, there are items out, like styled on the mannequins, but there's not like a ton. It's not like you can go through racks of clothing. You pretty much have to go and find. Either you get what's on the mannequin and they fit it to you, or you can custom order something.
Okay. I'll just look. I'll start looking around to see if there's anything cloaky.
Okay.
Any capes or anything.
Yeah, there's a few basic things, just different colors of kind of the same thing. You see, of course, the gray drab style of everything here. But these are just like basic cloaks. They don't really seem anything in particular. You see some that are black, some that are blue, a few different colors there.
All right. Okay. Then I'll approach the counter. I'll approach the dudes. And, hello there.
And the older man nods at you, and he kind of looks over and nudges the apprentice, and he goes, hello?
Hi. I'm looking for, like, a cloak of sorts, but something special. Do you have anything special?
A special, well, and then you can see him, like, remembering the company line. For you, everything is special.
Oh, okay. So, any of the cloaks here that I specifically buy are going to have, like, special abilities and powers?
He looks over at the older guy, who just gives him nothing. No help at all. Looks back at you and he goes, yes?
All right. Do you have any, like, cloaks that you have made that are out here?
Yes, I just finished my... not my first one. I'll go get it. And he runs into the back and comes back a second later. This nice, like, crimson-colored cloak. And you can see, like, the stitching is a little rough in spots, right? Like, it's not exactly straight where it needs to be. It's definitely his first go at making something totally on his own without any help. But he seems very proud of it. And he holds it out and, like, kind of begins to style it on himself, and then looks over at the other guy who kind of like nods his head towards you, and he goes, "Oh, allow me to show you, sir." And he goes and like throws it over your shoulders, and it flows really nicely as he does so. It's got this nice like ripple to it. It's very
Yeah.
And he says, "Please look." He gestures towards the little three-way mirror there, the three-angled mirror. Wow, you sure do look dashing.
That's my middle name, you know.
Really?
But yes, this is wonderful. I love it. How much would I have to pay you for this?
Well, for this one, just for you, 2 gold.
Just for me, it's 2 gold. All right.
It's a special deal.
So, yeah. So I'll take this one. And then I would also like, do you have leather gloves somewhere? I didn't look for those. Do you have those?
Yes. And he looks back at the older guy, and the guy says, "There's a glove box in the back over there. You can go and take a look, find your size."
Oh, all right. Thank you. And I'll just set the cloak on the counter and go and check. Just some black gloves.
Yeah, there's a ton of like just basic leather gloves. Looks like, so there's some that are thicker for like working, obviously, but most of them are just stylistic, you know.
Yeah.
As Varus is walking over there, Harriet's gonna shout, "Can you grab me a pair of working ones?
Yes.
I think would fit."
What color do you want? Actually, let me pick for you.
Oh dear.
They're all black.
Okay. Let's see. This black or this black? Shall I go with black today? Or yeah. So I'll just grab one of the like more fashionable pairs for myself, and then one of the more working pairs for Harriet.
Sure. Make an intelligence check. See if you can guess the size of Harriet's hands.
Claws, baby.
Claws.
Yes.
Oh, you just grabbed 2 that are Varus' size.
Hell yeah.
Those aren't dragon woman hands.
Yeah. So bring those over, set those on the counter. Yes.
I really appreciate the effort. Harry will kind of look at the guy and go, I know blacksmiths aren't allowed here. This is for a job somewhere else. But I was wondering if you had, like, an apron, a leather apron or some sort around here.
Of course. Might I suggest a different size of glove for you?
Yes, I think Voss is a bit off.
What?
I'll grab that. 1 sec. And he goes and
There's
grabs.
different sizes of gloves?
He goes literally just to the next stack over is the size up. Grabs it, brings it back, and he pulls up a blacksmith's apron, right?
Yeah, she's
All
just
right, here you
thinking that's probably what she's gonna have to do in the future soon.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Oh, the guy's just asking. Yeah, he's just making sure. Blacksmith's apron, sets it down.
Yes.
All right, everything here?
Just one last thing, and I want to specifically look at not the young
Apprentice,
kiddo.
yeah.
Yeah, when I say this. I'm looking for something that might be able to do something other than look fashionable, if you catch my drift. Do you have any of that here?
We have sleepwear.
Nothing magical?
No.
Okay. Then yes, this is it.
All right, I'll ring you up, sir. And he goes around the corner. And as he's like really intensely writing out the receipt, by hand, the older guy says, "I appreciate you letting Thomas work for you. He's just started. He's learning the ropes. It's good to learn a trade here."
Yeah. Oh, I remember when I was young learning my trade. My father used to beat the shit out of me, so this is a lot better than that.
Well, he could be in Falderstep, but I suppose things here have their own problems as well.
Yeah. Just glad he's happy and healthy.
For now, yes. Thomas, and then he brings up, here's your copy. It's 5 gold for everything.
Total?
Yes.
Oh. Have you ever seen one of these before? And I'll show him a platinum piece.
His eyes go just... He takes it and kind of looks it back and forth. And he goes to bite it, and you hear just that... And he's like, oh, that's for gold, isn't it? Sets it down and just, like, rubs the side of his face.
Is that going to be alright to take care of this bill?
Yes. And the guy kind of winks at you and says, appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you for the finery. It will go to great use for the both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll be going now. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing Tower Falls Threads.
You keep it up there, Thomas.
Great work, Thomas.
Smiles all big. Before you're out the door, he turns to the other guy and he says, did you see he bought my cloak? That guy is going to wear it everywhere in the whole world.
Yeah. Yeah, like as soon as I was walking out, I was just throwing it over my shoulders, getting it fastened.
Yeah. He's definitely like very pleased with himself. Just, over the moon that you bought his thing. Yeah, very excited.
Yeah. The
right.
bar is for me, but yeah.
All right. So you head out of the store, and you notice the clouds starting to form up once again. It seems that daylight that you had before is kind of faded, and you feel the rain start to fall. It's not heavy or anything yet. It's just gently starting to almost mist. But you have at this time, I'd say with everything that you've been doing, it's mid to late afternoon, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. What would you like to do? Zarius, you know that you're going to have to spend several hours with Zelene going over that letter, so... Just so you can
Let me
plan.
go ahead and head back. Yeah. He doesn't have anything else to do, so he'll head back.
Cool. Are the rest of you going with?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we're
Done.
pretty much done.
All right, sounds great. So you head back to Frankenbeans, make your way in, and you see that Zelene and Frank and Jax are sitting in the corner near the memorial wall, and Frank and Zelene both have their hands on Jax, and they're looking at the memorial wall and talking about it. Obviously, you can't hear the rain inside, but yeah, they're both kind of like, it looks like they're just teaching him about what it means to be remembered and what it means to have loss and those kinds of things. It's kind of a sweet moment.
Can Harriet try and look for Ava's name?
Yeah, make an investigation check. I'd say you have advantage since you're taking your time. Unless you're just like rushing trying to find it.
Oh, she just, she meant what she said about actually looking for it. So he said investigation.
17, pretty good. It takes you maybe 20 minutes or so of poring over, and during this time you really start to realize there's well over 1,000 names here. It's a lot, and you get overwhelmed almost at just the number of people that are remembered here. But you look through, and eventually you come upon one that just says the name Ava. And there's just like a big thumbprint, like pushed into the wood. And it has a date. The date, you recognize the date to be about 2 years ago.
Yeah, she'll just kind of run her, like, claw over it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, put her hand on it for a little bit. And also, just in going forward, keeping an eye out for when she can sneak this back to Jax.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Frank and Zelene, you overhear them talking, and it's, like I said, they're just talking about memorializing what it means to remember people who are lost. Frank and Zelene both say, all right, Jax, it's time for a bath. You think you can do that by yourself? He says, yeah, I'm a big kid. I can do it. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, we're going to talk with them here. Once you're finished, come down and see us. And he's like, okay. And then they turn and go say hi to all of you and sit down at a table. And Jax is left kind of looking at the wall, like very importantly. Like he's very like profoundly taking it in for a 6-year-old for a moment. But this would be a good opportunity that you could
is Harriet able, because she's already looking at the wall, to kind of like move over next to him, looking at the wall, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not the sneakiest, so that's the best she's gonna get.
Yeah, make a stealth check just to see.
Well, 20. Okay.
6. Yeah, it's about what I expected.
That's okay.
It's like, it's a, over 6 foot tall dragonborn trying to stealthily hand off a bag to a 6-year-old child.
Full of donuts.
Yeah. Anyone just looking that way will see this. But you hold the bag over, and Jax doesn't really seem to notice at first, and then you see his nose twitch, like, and then he just looks over,
stealthy enough for Jax.
Eyes wide, and just like, he looks up at you, he said, did you go see Ute?
Yes, I did, and he said these were for you, but I have to be stealthy about it.
Okay, I'll be quiet. And he takes it and just crinkles the bag,
Harriet, like, instinctively crinkles the one she's holding, so it looks like that was her.
He turns back and looks behind, and Frank and Zelene are kind of like enjoying a moment talking with one another without distraction. And he takes it and he says, I'm gonna hide this in my room, and just runs upstairs.
Harriet will turn back to you guys. Kind of like...
Gives her a little golf clap.
Just like, that guilty look where, like, she knows you guys saw that just not work. Anyway.
Well, that was great, yeah. So the rest of you can get some food if you'd like, or if you're too full on pastries, just sit down and hang out. Whatever you'd like to do for the evening. Yeah. As you all are kind of settling into the area, Frank and Zelene speak with each other, and Frank heads upstairs. And Zelene says to Zarius, so, ready to get started?
Yes, do you have something to write with?
Of course. She gets it's like a big notepad out on the counter, pulls out the letter, takes it out. Please, let's begin.
Shazaris will take it and start.
Okay. Yeah, it gives you a definite headache as you're doing this. Like it's like reading all the words backwards, and it's very challenging to go through. Go ahead and we'll do just do one, just a general intelligence check.
Yeah,
6.
figured as much.
It takes you quite a while to get in the groove. You know, a day of like doing other stuff. Your brain's a little out of it. So the first hour or so, you pretty much get nothing done. Go ahead and do another intelligence check. 20. You start to get in the groove. You're sitting there. You're putting your head to it. Your headache kind of goes away for a while. One of the bartenders brings you over some coffee, and that helps a little bit. And then you manage to get about halfway through the letter on this one, you know, in the next hour. Go ahead and make one more intelligence check. 10, okay. The conclusion is a little rough. Tadriel is using a lot of really eloquent language, which is surprising for, you know, for what you're doing. It just seems like a bunch of raw data to have this really like beautifully written portion at the end. One thing with Celestial is it conveys a lot of the feeling in the writing. So as you're reading this, you're kind of hit with this overwhelming sadness as you're reading. You can't quite place why or where, but a lot of it, it's even though it's just like a, you know, this is the stuff that came out of here, you're kind of just hit with this like deep feeling of sadness just in the pits. And you end up concluding the translation of the letter. As you read over the translation, you see that basically all of the listed creatures are things that have been attempting to leave the mines. And Tadriel and his whoever he's working with, if it's anybody, you're not sure, has been preventing that from happening, preventing them from getting out. So effectively, he's acting as like a guardian or like a, you know, like a big hammer to smash the things that are coming out, basically, like whack-a-mole. That's the official translation, is whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, again, you see the names, Ozek and the Mothagoth. You don't really get any kind of feeling as of what they are or who they are or anything, but apparently they're a pair and they're coming to help, or they're already there to help. You're not sure. But, yeah. That takes pretty much like 4 or 5 hours of you. So about this time, it's like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. If there's anything anyone else would like to do in the meanwhile, we can do that as well. I don't want to rush anyone.
I typed this, but I'll say it again.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
But it doesn't, that's just in my mind. Like, I know that's inherently technically part of like what level of gunslinger she is. I just know she hasn't actively done that yet, so I know she wouldn't just jump in it. So that's just my roleplay aspect of it, of like taking apart. It doesn't have to be on the table in the pub right there, you know, but just, it could be, but just in kind of this today or evening time, she wants to take one apart and start understanding if she'd be able to make that, combining her like gunslinger and blacksmith skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead and make a, what is the skill for blacksmith tools? I can never remember.
I think it's, well, I have the tinker's tools as technically the tool.
Okay,
like,
yeah. Is it dexterity?
I think so. Let's see what I have it logged in as.
Nothing. So I would say you can choose either dexterity or intelligence. I think it's supposed to be intelligence, but I'll let you pick.
I would prefer dexterity.
Yeah, I'll let you pick, whichever one. Just will depend on what type of information you get.
Okay. Try this one for
19.
now.
Okay. So you manage to crack the casing pretty quickly. You get the pieces apart, you dump out the powder, and you see they're cube-shaped powder, which is very strange. Ordinarily, powder you would think is like an actual powder, like flour texture. But these are, it's like a cube-shaped a powder substance. And you'd guess that that's one of the things that helps it to burn more quickly, allow faster speed. The projectiles are, it's a brass-coated lead core, so That's what allows it to kind of puncture as well as it does. And the casings are like tin or brass or steel. There's a variety of ones there, but brass is the most common that you see. So you figure out the primer. You figure out you manage to pop the primer out. And you figure out how it all fits together. So you're able to understand the construction of it. You don't quite know what makeup the powder is yet, or the primer, but you know that, okay, well, if you can get your hands on some brass, you could cast a mold for this no problem, for the different parts. You don't have the stuff to do that yet, but if you got it, yeah, you could make your own no problem, aside from the powder and the primer.
Okay, good to know. That's all for me.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
If Varus can, so I have a disguise kit. Could Varus paint his nails?
Sure. Yeah.
Just a dumb little flavor thing. And he's also going to braid his hair, so it fits with the new Hero Forge model that I made.
Okay. Okay.
Which I'll actually send right now to
the Discord.
Yeah. Where is it? Discord. There it is. Pew.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Including Thomas's crimson cloak.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, he'll just be painting his nails and braiding his hair all night.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Sorry, I was muted. Kanan is gonna pull out that book.
Okay.
And yes, and finally read it. She'll just be, she'll be like, hey guys, I don't remember if you guys can actually see this when I read it, but if you'd like to see what's in this book, if I can do that without the prism, I'm gonna do that if you guys would like to see it. Yeah, and maybe if I can find, if Jax isn't like asleep, if I could find him and do it with him.
Okay. Yeah, so depending on, so who else wants to go and watch first? Would anyone else like to see this?
I'll go watch.
Okay.
I'll watch if I'm not too busy working on this Emma.
Yeah, it just depends on when Kanan decides to do this. Is the
Before
assuming Xeris is
Jax's
probably-
bedtime.
Okay.
Yeah, Xeris is probably still translating then.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to go to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, so...
Oh, okay. Then, yes, Xeris will go on.
Okay. All right. Okay, so... Yeah, you come up the stairs and kind of getting everyone together. Xeris, you take a point of exhaustion, by the way, from translating. So, you are exhausted.
Love that.
Kanan, you come up the stairs trying to find Jax, and you see he's wearing a towel around his body, just asleep halfway in the door of his room. Just a pile of crumbs of donuts in a half-empty bag next to him. Apparently took a bath and then ate a bunch of donuts and passed out. So you can wake him if you'd like to. He's just in the hallway, basically.
Kanan's gonna pick up the bag of donuts.
Okay.
And then curl him up, set him to the side, and be like, hi, Jax. I think it's a little dangerous to be sleeping out here in the hallway. Do you want me to take you to your bed?
Well, I need a story. Before bed,
well,
will you give me a story?
I can. I was just about to show one of those books with the pictures in it, if you'd like to see that as well.
Yeah. Can we do it in bed though?
Sure. I can do it more than once.
I mean, he pushes the door open, and you see it's just a bed in there. It's like his room. He's got a room the same size as you all are sharing. So you all could easily go in there if you want to and tuck this kid into bed.
Okay, I'll be like, hey, is it okay if I bring my friends in here to also hear the story?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back. You stay awake.
Okay.
Kaden will grab the bags of donuts that are sitting outside the door and take them downstairs with her.
Okay.
Kind of go up to Frank and be like, hi, Frank. These are for Jax. And
Okay.
hand them to Frank.
Harriet, takes one deep breath.
You talked you into bringing these over, huh?
Yeah. Well, Jax just asked if I could read him a bedtime story, so I was gonna take my crew up to the room and do that if you'd like to join.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta get up there and get to sleep pretty soon here too. But I'll come up there with you. Yeah, appreciate what you're doing.
Right. Thanks. And Kanan will just wave at everyone and be like, "Hey."
Okay.
Come on.
Everyone gets together and comes up there, and you're all heavily armed, still surrounding Jax. He's the safest kid on Earth right now.
Good, as he should be.
And you can
King
see him
deserves
starting to get.
protection.
You can see him starting to get a little drowsy, but he sees you come in and he gets real excited. He's like, oh, "Okay, ready for a story."
And I'm gonna read it
Okay. You pull the book out.
visually.
Yeah. You pull the book out, and you see a human man who looks to be in his early to mid-20s, standing in a vast, open field surrounded by mountains. The tall green and yellow strands of grass wave and drift in the gentle breeze, tossing his shaggy black hair. Piercing green eyes gleam out from furrowed eyebrows. He looks focused, driven, prepared. The bleak, black and gray sky overhead belies an oncoming, if unnatural, storm, and tiny, short-lived rays of sunlight puncture through the oppressive cloud coverage. The man stands clad in light leather armor, and you watch as he chants a short incantation, igniting the long, wicked-looking blade in his left hand in curling, verdant flames, while on his right he clutches a small symbol shaped like a bear's paw with a golden circle surrounding it. The symbol glows brightly with the same bright green light. Your vision shifts, and you see behind the man stands a few close companions, all dressed in varying degrees of armor and carrying a strange variety of weapons. Behind them, a veritable army has formed, easily numbering in the thousands, all uniformly dressed, with brilliant banners indicating unit formations or loyalties. As your vision reverses, you see on the other end of this field, maybe 200 or 300 feet away, a dozen humanoid shapes, all horned with deep red skin, standing. Taking a closer look, you see they all have large sets of leathery wings folded behind them. Behind this group stand 7 or 8 huge and grotesque-looking monsters. The creatures stand on dozens of smaller legs to be nearly 15 feet tall and easily 30 feet long. Red spines that flicker and shift like fire line the tops of their blue bodies, and a horrifying set of 4-layered teeth chomp and snap towards the human man and his army. The man turns to face the gathered forces behind him and addresses his companions in a low tone, saying, "If there's a time worthy of our deaths, this is it." And he raises his hand for the army to follow. A vicious battle ensues, and your vision only shows bits and pieces of the chaos. At the end of the battle, you see the bloody and beaten body of the human man, missing his left arm completely, being carried away by his victorious, if exhausted and sorrowful friends. And your vision closes.
Wow. Seems like they died quite the honorable death. Good night, Jax. live an honorable life.
Frank looks at you and says, "Thank you. You've got quite the gift." I'll tuck him in.
Thanks. All right. I'll walk out of the room.
Okay. The rest of you file out as well, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Zelene is in the hallway as you step out, and she says, "So we'll leave fairly early in the morning. We've got some hiking to do across the plains. I appreciate you speaking with Jax. I know he finds you quite delightful."
Well, he's got the same gift with the books.
Does he?
Yeah, he said he was practicing with Arcturus. Archie, he called him. So if there's anything surviving that library, I think he could really benefit from that. But I know the whole ordeal with magic in this area is difficult, so if you don't want him touching that, I understand.
I'll have Cam go take a look. Any material for Jax. Thank you.
Welcome. Oh, and you can have this one. And she'll hand Zelene the book.
She takes it from you and kind of flips through the pages and it's like, looks like a good book. Kind of puts it in her bag.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Oh,
he can practice on it.
I see. Okay. Well,
Harriet
oh, go ahead.
passes over the remaining 3 Ute fruits that she got and for Frank, Zelene, and Jax, and hands that over to her too.
You know, I always liked these things. I can't quite figure out where Ute gets the blackberries, but you must have some place. Thank you.
They tend to grow wherever you don't want them.
I'll be sure to check.
So...
Anyway, I hope that you have a restful night. I will need to rest as well, and we can set out early in the morning.
Sounds good.
Wonderful.
Good night. She heads into the room. You all have the evening to do, or the night, I'd rather, to settle in and do whatever you'd like. I'll be right back.
How's my hair, everyone? I spent all night working on it.
Amazing.
Look all right?
I love the nails too.
And the
So
nails,
elegant.
the cloak. Oh,
Well, if I'm gonna be, I don't know, swooning old people, I have to look my best.
I mean, isn't that
Mhm.
relative?
Yeah.
You elves, you know, it could be an old dragonborn, but still younger than
true.
you.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like an age requirement or if it's like a percentage, like
Hold
of
on.
life left.
How close to death you have to be? Because I'm an older woman, and I will not be swooned by your magics, Varus Olympian.
I've already swooned you by my magics, Harriet. I don't need these crummy cookies to do that. I've already done that. You've spent the last 2 years with me.
Well, maybe just make sure you're outside of the room when you eat it.
What?
You know, just not near Harriet or in the same room.
I'll have my poison immunity one just in case, and none of those sneaking viruses can get near me.
Sure.
You look great, Varus. I'm glad you
Thanks.
got the new wardrobe.
Here's what we can do is whenever I decide to snack on one of these and go and prank some old woman, I can cast fly on you so you can just fly away from me. How does that?
Just say a good riddance.
I mean, I don't know if you're so worried about it.
Not worried about it, Varus. Just giving you a hard time.
Oh. Well, what else is new?
That's fair. I was wondering if everyone's available, if I could tell a short story, maybe. I've been
Please.
thinking about
Mike
something.
off.
Idea.
I know
Yes.
Kanan's kind of the story person, so
Mike off.
No, always happy to listen. Go ahead, darling.
Mike off.
But you know, I had that dream. Well, I don't know if you know. I had a dream back with the giant,
Mike off.
and it's just brought some things up for me that I hadn't thought about in a while, a long time, like 20 years, you know? And I just think it's important for me to tell you, because if I can't tell you all, then I really can't tell anyone else, you know? Kind of how it is. And you know how when you try and make you try and make a not a big deal out of something, but instead by doing that, you've made a really big deal out of it? That's kind of how I feel about this. I think only Varus really asked me about it, but I think most of you know that I had a different name for a long time. Well, anyways, where I lived a long time ago was like a dragon-born clan, you know, just us there, and that's where I was, and I was raised, and it was nice, I guess, with my 2 sisters there, and they're twins, and my family, and that's where I met Leondrain, Leo, as I sometimes talk about him. And anyways, I just, in this dream, I heard someone calling me by this name, and I just going in the place with the clouds, and I just don't want the way you find out to find this information about me to be just from some random person on the street. And I also know that if someone were to call me this name, it would be important for us to know something about them because of that. But I don't know. I just don't want you all to think I've been hiding something from you. When I left, a few months after Leo disappeared, I left, and I changed my name on the way. My name, I just would prefer if you just don't use it. I just want you to know it. That's all. But, well, I thought this would be easier to say. But my name was Nina back then. My clan name was Seacloth. And this isn't my real accent, but it is now, is what I'm saying. I've lived like this for, 20 more years now. Is how I've lived as Harriet, talking like this, and that's who I am. I choose those things now, so it's not a deception, is what I'm saying. I left that town, and I realized kind of that I might need a new name, and I didn't really have one, and I heard some people talking on the street, and they were talking about how to get rid of something. And they were saying, I don't know, should we burn it? Should we bury it? And so when I got to the first town I was at, I panicked and I thought, that's what I want to do, bury it. Bury it all. And, well, kind of panicked. And just, that's how I chose Harriet. But, anyways. So it's not really a big deal. I just wanted you all to know because, well, if someone were to call me that name, you would know something about them right away.
I know how you feel.
I wish it wasn't relatable, Amira. But, thank you.
Varus is just going to go over to where Harriet is and give her a hug. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Varus. Never I don't know, I never thought I'd have a reason to. Or people who'd want to hear that, so thanks for asking and waiting.
Well, I hope you don't think we're upset at you. There's plenty of reasons to change your name or to have a new name. I mean, we've been talking about it ourselves for the last, 2-3 days?
Yeah, that's how we got in here. My name's Bert, according to the city of Havasu.
And Lana for me. So yeah, and you'll always be Harriet for us. So don't worry, I won't call you the other name. I can't even remember it now.
I was going to say, I'm probably going to forget it by tomorrow morning, and then I'll be bugging you about it again.
Fine by me. That's all. Well, when I left that town, it's because, when Leo disappeared, all these rumors started, Like, well, he must have just left her, must be that easy. Harriet must, well, not Harriet, but, Harriet must have done something, or she must just be that leavable, if someone could just up and leave in the middle of the night, never come back. So I thought, well, if I'm that leavable, I could just leave. So I guess what I'm saying is thanks for not leaving me and sticking with me, and especially all of you, but, Anira too. I know you didn't ask to be part of this, and you still haven't left. That's more than, well, most of my family's done at this point. Who knows what they're doing? But it doesn't involve me anymore, and I guess I'm fine with that. You're my family now, and I feel more me as Harriet than I ever did as who I was, so.
I'm just gonna go sit next to Harriet, shoulder to shoulder. Like, not like hug or anything, but just like that closeness,
She'll like put a hand on your back if you'll let her, and that's all.
She lets it.
Well, I'd say you're quite the opposite of leavable.
I don't think you could get rid of us if you wanted to.
It'd be quite difficult.
Well, that's not in my plan.
I can find you from a long way now.
Oh, no. Well, I guess I'm reassured by that. I know Kanan has her emotions about it, but that's all right.
It's just a bit too much like Corzin for me.
So if you're trying to find us, if you get separated, maybe look for me and not Kanan.
Do not revivify and do not scry.
I mean, if you need me and like I'm gone and disappeared, like when we went to the Comic-Con, of course, but not just daily life.
No intention of spying on you, Kanan.
You can spy on me.
That is a tempting offer. And other news, there's something else that's rather important that we should talk about.
Oh? Is it about names?
No. Well, I mean, no. Kind of.
Oh.
It's about that document that they translated for them.
Yes.
I'm still completely on board with the plan and everything. I just think we might need to consider what happens afterwards for once. Tadriel seems to be, I think the exact term in the paper was whack-a-mole on these beings that are trying to come through the divine gate. So we might need to make sure we have some kind of metaphorical hammer to stand in after he's gone.
What?
Oh.
Patriel is keeping things from coming through the divine gate. If we kill him, there will be no one doing that.
Oh, to be
Why
clear,
can't we
too,
just-
it was coming from the depths of the mines and also the divine gate, so 2 different places.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just making sure.
Patriel's kind of keeping bad things where they're supposed to be,
Kind of like
out
that,
of human cities
that
for
one
right
in
now.
space, like when we were going through the cipher. Like a gatekeeper.
You mean that big guy with the big hands?
I'm glad that that's what you remember about him.
The keeper of the 7 keys that told us to tell Balthy Boy.
Hey, he
To
didn't
stop
tell
messing
me
with
anything.
Bouncy boy! You're on a nickname basis with Balthazar now.
I wouldn't call, I mean, he could be listening to us at any time. I would be very
I
careful.
hope it was that moment.
Hey,
Bouncy
boy. Are you
We
there?
helped him take over an entire city. I can call him Balthy Boy.
He kind of
I don't
helped
think
us get
that's
out
how
of a
that
city
works.
that was...
Bouncy boy.
He helped
Anyway.
us.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we
think we
would
can
have
just
been
call him the
killed.
Tsar.
Bizarre.
Zah.
Bizarre. Yes, but just something to think about is how we're going to handle these creatures that are trying to escape out into our realm once we X the current person handling.
I mean, maybe we just talk to him. Maybe we can all live together and be happy. And by we, I mean the people of Haversteep. I don't know. Maybe Tadriel doesn't want them in Haversteep, but if they're there, they'll just hang out and be fine.
The list of monsters was like pretty scary things. Some that I've only read about in like legends.
What? And how are they getting here in the first place?
Well, they're coming through the divine gate, which is what he's trying to stop.
Can we just close it? I'm just saying, I'm not experienced
Close the
in
gate.
all of this magical shit that you guys do, but you say
Can we
gate,
just put a lock
and
on
I
it?
foresee like 2 doors. that-
Imagine more like... Matt, how much does Zarius know about this?
A fair amount. I mean, as far as like understanding of the celestial plane and those kinds of things, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Zarius is a fairly well read. So, from
Okay,
what the
I don't want
lore
to say anything
says,
that he wouldn't know.
yeah, from what the lore says, the divine gates are just portals, usually with guards.
Yeah.
So they usually have like angelic guards, but not always.
It's not really like, a big metal gate that you can put a lock on. It's more of a portal, per se, that's created and links our realm with the realm of the celestial realm. It's... how do I explain this?
Like a hallway?
Yeah, or a
I
tunnel.
mean, I know what portals are. I'm not that. I'm almost that stupid.
You look very confused.
Well, you said it's like a portal to the celestial realm?
I believe so. This
Is that
one,
where-
yes,
Is that
I'm
where
sure there's...
angels live?
Probably, yeah. Amongst other things.
Tadriel not an angel? What if they're just trying to get him back?
But do we banish him to where he came from too?
Fuck yeah, we do. No, we have to kill him.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know. How would that work?
If what Cam said is accurate, the angels aren't quite liked in the celestial.
Yeah.
Unless
it's
that
this
thing we fought
particular
wasn't an
faction.
angel.
It's like this. There's like the faction of angels, I believe.
What if Tadriel's one of them and he's
I think
the
he's
leader
probably
guy?
the leader.
Yeah. What if
I'm sure he's
That's-
not liked over there, but I don't think there.
What if that's why there's monsters coming through this divine gate?
Maybe
they're
that explains. That might explain that one, but what about the things of the Underdark? illithids
What?
and
The
There's the
dark?
Underdark there too?
Yeah. Right, Matt? There's Underdark,
Yep.
and there's like illithids, and I don't remember any of the other
Yeah.
things because the illithid's the only thing that's stuck in my brain.
Yeah.
But big scary monster things.
Can we not just kill those? Or close the cave? Talk to
I
me
wish-
like I'm 12, because I am.
Vars, I honestly don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure if it was something we could just close, he would have done it by now.
Unless it was beneficial to him. To know.
I don't know much about these creatures, but I don't see how they'd be beneficial. And he's killing them when they try to come.
Yeah.
Or doing something with them, like stopping them somehow.
I mean, might just enjoy violence, is what we've seen.
It's also entirely possible.
Well, so
It's just
these are
something to
things
think
that could
about.
really hurt people.
Yes, from what I understand.
Right. So we do need to find some way to. I mean, we're not killing him tomorrow. We
Correct.
have time to
It was just
figure
something
it
to think
out.
about.
Yeah.
For once, maybe plan like more than kill the bad guy. Also, kill the bad guy. Stop other bad guys.
We maybe contact. I don't know. As much as I dislike it, maybe we contact Balthazar, not tell him the situation, but ask him if there'd be a way to do such a thing.
Have we talked to
Also-
Zane about this yet?
About
About monsters and people coming through and Tadriel being the one taking care of them?
could you remind George who Celine is?
Where we're at.
Commander.
Translated the
I'm
letter
bad
with
with
you.
names.
You're good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
where we're at.
Yeah, so she's aware of
friend.
everything on the letter.
Yeah. Well, I was reading it out to her, and she was writing it down. So
Might be a good thing to point out. Maybe she has a plan. Or someone that she knows has a plan.
Also,
When
did
in
we
doubt,
ever?
defer our plans to other people so we don't have to think as much.
But did we ever talk to the siblings about Corzin? About the killing him thing?
The siblings?
the siblings.
Maybe they're not siblings.
I don't think they're siblings. We just always say that they're siblings, but I know who you're talking about.
Strom and
Strom and
Tialia.
Tialia?
Yeah.
Oh.
I sent them a message a little while back, but I don't think I told them we killed Corzin.
Maybe
Right
we
now.
should do that.
Let's just check. Okay, yeah.
Zarius will send a message to Strom.
All right.
Oh, hey, by the way,
BT
don't think we
Dubs.
told you this yet. We killed Corzin a little while back. Also killed another fellow, Nosmin. Now thinking about Tadriel. Hope you're doing well.
Oh my god.
Let's see if I can remember his voice.
What's up?
Well,
A few moments
deep
pass.
It's been like 3 years. We
Yeah.
killed our main enemy.
Now that is some important news. I find myself a little occupied at the moment, but you have my congratulations and gratitude. We are
it kind of
doing
rhymes.
well.
Did you say we're not doing
You
well?
said we are doing well.
Okay. I mean, I can't hear it anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't know why I'm asking. Never mind.
He said he's a little preoccupied at the moment, but he congratulated us. So that's something he's pleased to hear.
That's good. I just came to my mind with all the killing people and angels and fiends.
All right. So, anything else you all want to discuss tonight? Okay.
Harriet's gonna shoot a message to Jen. Shoot a message. Sorry. Shoot a message to Jen, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sounds good. Go ahead.
She's gonna say, "Hello, love. On the road again. I'm working on making ammo. Any tips? Thanks." That's all.
All right. A moment passes, and you start to hear that soft crash of waves against the side of the ship. You hear, "Ammunition! A worthy endeavor. You might lose a finger. Be careful."
Kanan moment.
Now let's see. If you can find... what's the name? Then there's a long pause. You need fine-tune powder. That will be your base. Good to hear from you.
That's all.
All right. All right. So with that, we'll head through the night. Everyone kind of settles in, get some rest. Through the night, Zarius, you're in a deep, deep slumber, sleeping off that exhaustion that you took before. And you feel yourself just sort of falling backwards. And ordinarily, in a lot of dreams you've had, you fall and you fall into darkness. In this case, you're falling backwards and it just gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And eventually you fall and just slow about 1.5 feet off the ground and then just drop dead. Just a solid, you feel like you're going to get let down gently, and then all of a sudden you slow to a stop. Just like 1.5 feet off the ground, yeah, and it just drops you. You land on your back, just, get up, and it's like hard to see. It's so bright white everywhere. And you see approaching, sort of wreathed in this reddish aura, stepping towards you. You hear the clack of like heavy armored boots coming closer and closer. And as the figure comes into focus, you see that aura grow more intense, and you see all on both arms up to the shoulders is Apollodux, blood covering her arms. She's holding her regular long flaming sword that you've seen her carry, and she has this just fire about her. Not literal fire, but just this essence, this energy kind of whirling and whipping about her, hair blowing around. And she's like almost hard to look at. She's so like just an intimidating presence. And she's holding the sword, and she holds it out to her side and drops it. And steps closer and kind of like tries to wipe the blood off on her armor, like clothing. And you see it just smears. And she approaches you, and as she's coming closer, she kind of shrinks down to your size from her ordinarily gigantic form, and grabs you by the shoulders, leaving these bloody handprints on your shoulders, and says, "I need to impress upon you the necessity of avoiding this divine gate." And you feel her kind of grip tighten on your shoulders. At the point it's painful for gripping into you.
Since really planning on going.
You may go, but you must avoid passing through the gate. I must be quiet while you are here in this space, lest we be overheard. Someone might notice if I'm not and smite you. I would be cautious about trusting others. The forces at work in this place are powerful and have a personal vendetta against me. Be careful of trusting others, Zarius.
From what I understand, you have a personal vendetta with him as well, correct?
Yes, my brother.
I'm assuming you know what we seek to do.
do. This course of action pleases me, and she releases her arms from your shoulders. You feel a little bit of like a whew. And you can feel like it's like hot where her hands were. And she kind of steps back from you and begins to almost strut around the place, just kind of thinking and mulling things over. She will say, "You must go to the underground, in those mines. There are things you must see there. There's a piece of me there, my cunning. You must retrieve it. Set me free, Zarius."
As you wish.
She turns and cradles your hand in both of, or your head in both of her hands, and you can feel like wet blood on the sides of your face. You say, "You are a good vessel, Zarius. I am well pleased." And she puts her hands on your chest and pushes you backwards, and you feel just the ground fall out from under you. You fall back and back and back into darkness, and you land hard in your bed and just startle awake, and you can feel like burns on your shoulders. You pull your sleeve back to take a look, and you see handprints.
Oh.
Like in deep burned scars.
Shit.
The rest of your night passes without issue. Right. The morning comes, and you all feel very well rested, if a little bothered by the events of the night. And you find yourselves awaking, refreshed, and ready for another day. The cloud coverage is back. You hear that gentle rain kind of constantly falling, as it always does, or nearly always does. But you gather your belongings and head downstairs. It's early. There aren't many patrons, maybe one or two people inside. Frank and Beans. But Zelene is up, and you don't see Frank. And she sees you. She's got a light pack on, and apparently has all her stuff ready to go as well. She sees you all come down and says, "Are we ready to venture out?"
I think so.
Yes.
As long as my hair looks okay.
Looks fine.
You look great and you know it, Boris.
Very well. Let us be off. Grey Witch. Well, I guess Grey Witch will wait for us forever, since, no one's going there anymore, but we need to get there sooner rather than later. All right, let us be off. And she heads out of Frank and Beans. You all following with? You want to any last minute things you want to look at around the city? Just high five any people you see, or good to go?
If I see Ute walking outside, I'll wave at him.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. As you head out and you get out beyond the walls, you do see in the distance, it looks like a normal-sized person, but you know from how far away you are that it's probably you, just the gray skin kind of fading, blending into the background a little bit. He doesn't notice you, though. But you see him out just like carefully picking from a bramble, and every now and then you'll see him pull his hand back and lick his finger.
That's what you some blackbirds.
But you all venture out. Let's get to this one. Not quite so many birds. The Boyds.
The Boyds are coming.
Eldritch blast the birds.
Eldritch blast.
Okay. You make your way across the plains, Zelene leading you, and she's moving pretty quickly. She's definitely got some quickness to her, very dexterous, very adept, sort of fast mover. You travel across the plains, and then so here's a question: since it's 8:18, I don't have to work tomorrow. I have the 4th off for some reason, so we can go until 9 if everyone would like to. Otherwise, we can end it at 8:30. It's totally no problem either way. I don't want to keep anyone up too late or end too early. So, what would y'all like to do?
I'm exhausted, but I've got another like 45 minutes in me if everyone else is going.
All right.
We can go until you get like a good stopping point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm available till 9. So
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have the brain for a battle personally, so if we're going to be fighting something, maybe no, but...
We might be. We might not. But, okay. So, as you're traveling, you see the occasional, boughs of trees gathered around. You see the occasional, like, odd, gigantic tree. Little bushes here and there. Zelena's not necessarily sticking to any kind of observable path. She's just kind of going based on a route that she seems to know. But you make your way following her, and eventually Varus, you notice a few times it's like you catch a glimpse of a familiar figure, and you hear that similar sound that you've heard before, that clack of dress shoes on tile. But every time that you look directly at where you think you see the figure moving, it disappears. And this happens maybe 7 or 8 times. You just see this, it's like you see Fetch stepping out from behind a tree and then he's gone. And it's like he shimmers for a second or he flickers and then he vanishes. As you continue on and you notice this, but not really a lot to do about it. You continue going. Go ahead.
Can I just drift back from the group a little bit? Maybe just 10, 15 feet, so I'm still there, but
yeah,
have my own space.
Sure. After the third or fourth time, you can pick up his expression. He's starting to appear closer and closer. You can tell the expression on his face seems confused and frustrated. Sorry if we're walking. We got to do this music.
Good.
He seems just frustrated and a little confused, and so he keeps appearing a little closer each time. Eventually, as you are walking, you pass by a little cluster of trees, maybe 3 or 4 trees, and he appears. It's maybe 10 feet off of where you're walking from. He appears and immediately steps out towards you. Says, "Varus."
Hi.
He looks around he squeezes his hands, touches the tree. Well, that was quite the ordeal. I am impressed with you, Varus.
Thanks? What did I do?
You felled the champion.
Oh, right. It's been a while since we last spoke, hasn't it?
Indeed. I am excited to see you go further and do more for me.
That's the plan. Yeah. I mean, one big guy down, another one to go. In your name.
He kind of looks around at the space. It's looks up at the sky and kind of takes in the space around him. He says, my time is somewhat limited. I'll offer you a deal. I'll give you a special temporary gift of power. If you'll refuse... Hold on a sec. If you'll refuse to help a true friend when they ask. What do you say? As you're deliberating, lightning strikes right where Fetch was standing, and he is gone. You feel a tingly sensation throughout your body, like an electric energy. And Fetch is gone.
Hello? Hello?
Boss, are you talking to somebody?
What? No, I'm fine. Let's just keep going. Kind of turn back and look where the lightning struck.
You see the ground, the dirt has just been turned to glass, but nothing else. There's no sign of Fetch anywhere.
And yeah, I do want to. Can I just try and disguise self like a disgustingly bright blue glove onto my left hand?
Sure.
Just to test.
Yeah, it shows up without issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get rid of it and talk to you later then.
Okay.
Be confused.
All right. You continue on, and Zelene points out as you're traveling, see there in the distance. And you all look and see, and there's it looks like a constructed city. You know, it's like kind of like a city skyline, but everything is in ruins. I mean, there's nothing taller than maybe 30, 40 feet at the absolute highest. From here, from this distance away, you can't really make out a lot of details about it. Everything looks just kind of gray and drab, just like everything else here. But it's definitely, you see the remnants of a wall surrounding the space, just like you saw at Moorstop. But as you draw a little closer, Zelene pulls back so that you can all kind of condense and get close together. And she says, in Greywitch we must be careful. Several people have tried over the years to return here. Always met with difficulty. Eventually, people stopped coming here after several went missing. This place, I'm sure you can feel, has a dark essence to it. But Arcturus recommended we come here, so there must be something.
Do we know what we're looking for?
His message said an object of power, something we could use against Tadriel when the time was right. I don't think he knew what form it would take, just that it was here.
Oh.
But
Alright.
our messages also have to be in code, so it could be I'm misinterpreting what he meant.
Well, I'll keep my eyes out for something of power.
Before we head in, we should stop shortly and take our breath. This could be something. I have a bad feeling.
All right. Don't want bad feelings going in.
And from where you're stopped, you're maybe like 300 or 400 feet from the edge of the wall of the city or the town. So you're a fair distance off near some bushes. So you could sit down behind the bushes and not be seen in the city. But it is raining, so. But I think that's a good place for us to end the session before heading into Greywitch. So